What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode 45 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, I'm Tim Gettys. I'm here with the coolest dudes in video games, Colin Moriarty and Greg Miller. Now we're doing something special today. A Nintendo Direct just happened. Yesterday, we recorded topics 2, 3, and 4 that you will hear in the future after this happens. But for now, we're just going to talk Nintendo. We're getting right into it. I am so excited.
That was a good one.
It was a good one. Y'all talking shit the whole time, but I don't care.
We weren't talking shit.
No, it was a good one.
It was good. It was fine.
It was good. It was fine. It wasn't just fine. It was good.
Big surprise in there, but it was
now, here's the thing. Yes, of course there was the big surprise. But my thing with the Nintendo Directs, there's nothing besides E3 that gets me more excited in video games than Nintendo Directs.
Not even playing Nintendo games? You get more excited about the Directs?
That's the thing. I like announcements. I'm a big fan of announcements. That's why, besides the cloud thing, my favorite announcement from the Direct was the announcement of more announcements to come in December.
That's true. That was the biggest pop you gave that whole thing, is when at the end they're like, the Smash Brothers, more Smash Brothers coming December. You're like, ah! You put up your hands.
I mean, that's great. That's such a good sign.
Words on a screen.
Oh, man. But I love it. I love announcements, and I love that there's this presentation, and here's 45 minutes. Yeah, we're going to see a bunch of shit we don't want.
Sure.
But they need to
It's
do
a
that.
press conference. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Usually you have to wait for press conferences. You got to wait for E3s, your Gamescoms, or whatever. Like, yeah, and Nintendo comes out and they drop them. And especially for you, Mr. Nintendo, who you love Nintendo
I'm
so
not
much.
Mr. Nintendo.
I know.
I'm the NX's biggest
fanboy. Yeah.
Yes. But I'm not Mr. Nintendo.
I hear next week we're installing a Nintendo World Championship belt. I wonder who's going to win it.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see in the Let's Plays next week.
No, but I thought I had a good time. It was a fun conference. I wasn't talking shit. We're doing the same thing we do to every conference.
No,
where
I
we
know.
just like
I
Mystery
know.
Science Theater.
But I just, I get really defensive over Nintendo. Of
course, it's your thing. I understand. It's your baby.
I can see it in your eyes. That's why I just back off a little bit sometimes.
No, you don't need to do that.
Like with the Star Fox game, that looks like it's a GameCube game.
You know what? We'll get to the Star Fox game. But overall, to me, it's not just me. Because you go on NeoGAF and there's 100-page threads.
People are very excited.
About the fucking
Twitter
Direct.
in general was
There's
a
just hype.
flame.
I mean, I'll tell you right now. I mean, this just broke right before we started recording. MPDs are out. Yoshi's Woolly World was the 8th best-selling game at retail in the United States, and it outsold.
You're the Yosh. I've been telling you.
It outsold Uncharted and the Nathan Drake collection, which came in at number 9.
That's crazy.
At
Where'd
retail.
you put the Yosh?
Although it's worth noting that the MPD numbers do not count bundles, which I'm sure PS4 sold plenty of with the Nathan Drake collection.
Yeah.
But I say that just to show that there is a group of people that are still buying these even more obscure or not as desirable exclusives. So when you see something like Zelda being confirmed as still a Wii U game, which is not a huge surprise, that shows that game's going to sell very well when it comes out.
So let's just go down the order of how things happened in this Nintendo Direct. This beautiful, beautiful Nintendo Direct.
Big
Zelda
Nintendo Direct.
Twilight Princess HD finally confirmed. Greg owes me a burrito because he said this ain't happening.
I was
What's
like, why?
wrong with you? When did you say that?
Why?
It leaked.
Why Yeah, but I thought, why cannibalize your Zelda game that apparently is not coming in 2016? I don't care that they said 2016. It's not coming in 2016. I'll double down. I'll put another burrito on the line that you're not getting your Zelda Wii U in 2016 now.
I mean, I don't want to bet that.
If it doesn't come out in
I don't-
2016, they're going to be in trouble.
I don't believe that. I'm still holding out, even though they're fucking saying all this stuff. I'm still holding out that it's not coming to Wii U. Like, and again, this is just my
NX, you mean?
warped thing.
It's coming.
No, I'm hoping it doesn't come to Wii U. It doesn't come to NX.
I see what you're saying. My
It's
apologies.
coming to Wii U. It makes no sense for it not to, especially this Direct confirms it to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
but wait, before we move on, why would you make that bet? It like conclusively leaked that like a month ago.
I like making entertaining shows where Tim and I argue about things. And
I get
I'll
a
buy him a
burrito out of it.
burrito anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like I bet him $100. I was like, it's going to happen, but.
So you make bets
burrito.
just to make them. Your bets don't mean
People
anything.
get engaged. They talk about it then on Twitter, and they tweeted us about it. I thought it was a dumb move. Still, but now if I really don't, now if this Zelda game is going to be so far out.
Yeah. So I mean, we got the release date of March 4th for Twilight Princess HD.
Yeah.
I will say that looking at it didn't excite me the way.
Of course not. It's not a good Zelda game.
I mean, I think it gets shot on a lot. It's
'Cause
definitely
it's not good.
I don't think it's not. It is good. It's just not
Forgettable.
amazing.
Forgettable.
It's definitely it was definitely a decline in quality that I think really actually started with more like the Minish Cap than anything else, and then kind of just started like Wind Waker was to me the last. I fucking love Wind Waker, and to me that was the last truly interesting, just aesthetically pleasing, really interesting looking, different kind of Zelda game.
Yeah.
By the time I got to Skyward Sword, I just didn't care anymore because Twilight Princess I felt so burned on. So Twilight Princess was the first Zelda game that I sat down to play that I didn't, with the exception of the 3DS ones or the DS ones because you had to use the stylus. I just didn't. I was like, nah, no way. Not for me. So I don't get. I'm with you that I don't.
Wait, so you never beat it?
No.
Twilight Princess?
No.
Oh,
no,
really?
No.
I did, and all I remember is Fringe Fingers and turning into a wolf in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like I don't
Not in the
remember
beginning.
that game. I played
The
that
beginning
game.
sucked.
I played that
Yeah, it
game
did.
stem to
sucked
stern
bad.
and just don't remember anything about it because I just Meanwhile, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, these are things. You know what I mean? Even Link Between Worlds recently, right? Like I remember moments of how much fun I was having in this game, and what I remember about Twilight Princess is getting stuck in one of the dungeons, and my girlfriend at the time quietly looking it up on IGN and then being like, well, what if you went over there and did that? I'm like, I've done that before. Like 10 minutes later, she'd be, I really think you should go do that. I'm like, all right. And it worked. I'm like, God damn.
That's funny. I like Twilight Princess. It's not my favorite Zelda game, but I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. But I will say that watching an HD trailer, I was excited because I knew this was coming. I want a burrito off of it, damn it. But I was excited to see the trailer because I thought it was going to be impressive to me in the way that Wind Waker HD, when I saw that trailer, I was like, ooh, this looks good. You know, and the cell shaded works better in the HDifying of things.
Yeah.
But I thought Twilight Princess was going to look a little better. Looking at it, I'm just like, oh, that's what Twilight Princess looks like. I'm sure, compare them side by side.
It's what you think
totally
it looks
not.
like. What you think you remember.
I thought I'd get a little bit more of like, and I didn't.
Yeah.
But there's a Wolf Link amiibo. So Zyger's happy out there.
Of course. Zyger must be, he's probably in a coma right now with all the amiibo talk and all these different amiibos that are shouted out.
I'll say that I think it's a smart move for them to release the game because a lot of people do love it. And there is not, there's a dearth of games on Wii U. So, I mean, I think it makes perfect sense. Even if the new Zelda was going to come out in the summer or something like that, I don't think that the release of it affects it at all. But this was the least surprising news because this conclusively leaked. Yeah. So out of everything that I thought we would see, this was like the one I knew we were going to see. So I was glad that they opened with it.
Artwork leaked. Yeah. There was a little like
it was
icon.
on the eShop. Yeah. It was like, of course it's going to happen.
Yeah. And the big thing about the Direct for me is like there were so many games talked about. Some of them for just 3 seconds, but like that's all I need. It's just like, hey, there's a lot of Nintendo things happening. Not all of it's going to be for you, but there's going to be a lot of it. This Direct had so many things that I was just like, yes, thank you. This is what I care about. Yeah. Maybe no one else does, but I fucking do. Moving on, my boy Bill Trent. Oh, also they talked about the new Zelda, and they said
2016
that it's coming. It's coming to Wii U in 2016. Still coming. They showed like 10 seconds of footage of it. It was new footage, but I mean it didn't show anything new. Link kind of like had a weird like
hood on, hood scarfy hood thing. Yeah.
I have a lot of hope in that game actually.
I hope so.
It's compatible with the Wolf Amiibo, or whatever that's worth.
There's you can put the other
and
Zelda
the other
amiibos on
Zelda
there, right?
themed amiibos.
Take your time with that game. All the time you need.
Yeah, get it on NX.
But I still think it might be on the NX too, but if we believe the NX might come out next fall, which I don't think it will. Excuse me, I'm burping. So I think that, there's no question it's coming to Wii U. I mean, there's just no question anymore. We've definitely debated this in the past. I mean, it's coming to Wii U.
Yeah. And it's upsetting, but it's upsetting to me.
I don't think it's upsetting.
I think for the success of the NX, I think it's upsetting. I wished that in the time we hadn't heard about the game, they just completely moved over and started fresh on the NX.
It's still possible that they're doing that. Again, remember, like we said it before, they're in the space in between right now, and so they can't necessarily. Twilight Princess was a GameCube and a Wii game, and I don't necessarily think that it's impossible that this is the same thing. They just can't say that.
Yeah, no, and I think I will be shocked if this game's not on NX in some form. My biggest question is if this is a 2016 game, the NX isn't in 2016, what do they do with it? And the thing is, they might not do the exact same they did with Twilight Princess. They might do something more similar to Smash Bros. On the 3DS and Wii U, where it's the same game, but there's more stuff on the NX one, and that's going to make people want to buy it either again or wait and buy that version.
Yeah, I think I don't believe that NX is going to come out next year simply because it seemed so back in like between the NES and SNES transition in 91, NES was still like really viable actually for a long time. I mean, they were releasing first party Nintendo games in 1994. So it was different then. SNES and N64 was a little more tapered, and by the time you got to GameCube, N64 was basically dead. I remember the last N64 games I bought were in the spring of 2001, and obviously it was in the fall of 2001 that GameCube came out. So when you think about the transition from GameCube to Wii, 2004 and 2005, especially 2004, were really strong years for that console. But by 2006, the console was dying or dead already, and the release schedule of some of the games still on Wii U in 2016 indicate to me that NX, it just wouldn't make sense to release NX then. I don't think NX is a fall 2017, but I think it's probably maybe spring 2017.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my money's on 2016, but just because we don't have anything besides Zelda left for the latter half of the year.
No, but still, I just feel like you want it to taper and have a vacuum of excitement before you don't want to. This was it was the argument I made with why Zelda shouldn't move over to NX completely. It's because you don't want to burn the people that are going to be there for you. The only people that are guaranteed to going to be there for you are the people that own Wii U. So it's as long as you treat them well towards the end of the life cycle. Like Nintendo's fan base is demonstrably shrinking, and you need to take care of those people before you try to expand out, where the blue ocean strategy kind of thing only works when you have a strong core, which is why the Wii, I think, succeeded.
I just don't agree. I feel like I'd just burn me hard and let's move on. I want good things.
I think you're in the minority on that. I think you're in the minority on that. But I mean, we're adults with some disposable income, right? Like, I just don't know that everyone's in the position where they don't want, they don't want to be fucked by Nintendo in terms of the Wii U or whatever. Like, give it some time to die.
See, my argument to that would be that the people that aren't adults with money aren't the people that are clamoring for this Zelda game. Like, those are the ones that are playing all these other games that I don't care about, like the Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival or whatever the hell it's called. And
we'll find out. I hope I'm wrong, just in the sense that I want to see what the hell this thing is. Mm-hmm. But I think we will see it at E3. But it would be nice for it to come out in the fall. I mean, you don't want to be in a Dreamcast situation where you're coming out in the middle or towards the end of a generation, because then you are in a weird space, and there's really no success stories of that happening when you think about it. So,
so then Bill Trinen comes out, talks about Triforce Heroes. There's an update, 30-stage free download. Talks about Splatoon, new stages, equipment, tournament mode. Mario Maker has a portal site where you can go on the internet and like look at websites that way, download them, and sync them to your console later. Hell yes. All of this to me is great news. This is what I want from Nintendo, where it's these games are platforms. You're not going to need to wait for 10 years for the sequel to come out or whatever. You get these. We're going to keep giving you updates. Some of them are free. Some of them are paid, whatever. It's going to be worth it either way. Like, you're getting stuff. And how they're treating Mario Maker so far, I am in love with. It's only been out a couple months. We've already gotten multiple announcements or updates and stuff. So very stoked about that. Then they started talking about some eShop titles. Pokemon Picross, which I've never been a big Picross guy.
No, it's interesting to see that come out, and it's a was this one of the free to start games, Picross? Yeah, it seems like this is like a new model in conjunction with the rumors that all of the Nintendo mobile games are going to be free to play. So this seems like they're just exploring, not that this is the first time they've done it, but to explore a different kind of pricing model, whatever. Picross games have been huge for Nintendo for a really long time, just not like a really long time, just not in the West. So it is cool to see them kind of support that again. But Picross games, Nintendo Picross games have been huge for 25 plus years in Japan. So
then the eShop title that I'm most excited about is the one called Fast Racing Neo. We've seen it before a little bit, but we're not getting a new F-Zero.
Yeah, it looks like F-Zero or Wipeout or something. Yeah.
But it's like pretty much a spiritual successor to the N64 era of those games. And oh my God, that looks great. Fucking 4-player split screen.
I'm not a racing fan, so I really don't know.
I love that type of stuff. Like I love the futuristic racers, and I loved F-Zero. So very stoked about that.
Surprised they didn't slap F-Zero on it.
I know. Then Yokai Watch and Animal Crossing, they just did more bits on that, which not for me. Then new bundles with both Splatoon and Smashin'. That's great. Let's just get as many Wii U's out there and get people playing the good games that exist on it. Pokken Tournament, we saw a new Shadow Mewtwo trailer. That game looks amazing to me. Like, I mean, when I say amazing, I mean very, very solid 8 out of 10.
Are you gonna play it?
Yeah, that looks awesome. I mean, it's a fighting game. That's how I imagine Pokemon games would be when I was a dumb little kid. Like that's what the cartoons looked like. Just the Pokemon actually fighting with each other and stuff. Hell yeah, that looks great. Very stoked about that. It's interesting, the Tekken crossover, and the name is horrible.
It is horrible.
I can't believe they're
just because it's spelled Pokken. Yeah. So that's one problem with the 2Ks. Pock. P-O-K-K is Pock. But it does look pretty cool. I mean, it's not for me either, but it's they're taking advantage of Pokemon in weird ways. I don't know what they're doing. Like, just do what you need to do with this series. Put a fucking full Pokemon game on mobile and make an MMO for your console. Just do it. Just fucking do it already.
Yeah. NX, bro. We'll see. Final Fantasy Explorers on the 3DS.
I think that game looks cool.
Yeah, I don't really care too much, but that definitely looks like a Colin Moriarty special if I ever saw.
Yeah, it's just cool, a little cool mashup. I mean, I like that kind of stuff with kind of celebrating Final Fantasy's heritage before it was what it is now. So, yeah, it's cool to see those characters all in the same world. Not the first time we've seen that, but
yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's a game that I'd certainly look to maybe play later.
It's cool to see them all together in more of an actual. It's not really, it didn't look too much like an RPG, but like an action RPG game. Usually we see them together in fighting games or like music games or stuff like that. Then Star Fox, we saw a trailer. April 22nd is the new release date. We saw more of the Walker. The Landmaster now has a Grav Master mode that like the tank kind of hovers and stuff.
They went through the controls and stuff. That's just the normal thing it's always been, right?
Yeah,
Did they change
unfortunately,
anything?
and that's my biggest thing with this game is from every time I've played it, it's not good. Like just straight up, it doesn't play right. And you know, Colin's biggest thing is that it looks like
it just looks old. And I'm not a guy that really gets hung up on aesthetic. I really don't. Like, we're playing Fallout 4 now, and I know a lot of people think that game's ugly, but that's not really one of the problems with the game, in my opinion. It's just that when you think about Star Fox's heritage, especially on Super Nintendo and N64, those games showcase those consoles in ways that other games didn't, and they weren't necessarily the prettiest, the most technologically advanced by the time you got to the end of the cycle. But when you look back at what Star Fox was doing early on SNES, early to mid through its life, it was a pretty extraordinary game. And you still look at it and you're like, it doesn't age very well, especially at Star Fox 64, but these were kind of showpieces in their own way, in their own respect, in my opinion. Like, I just think that it's just disappointing to see a game that really straight up looks like it's a GameCube game, like, or a Wii game. It really doesn't look like a Wii U game. And some people are like, well, it's indicative that maybe it's been in development for a long time. I don't know anything about that. I think it might have been a Wii game, but because they decided, I mean, think back on the Super Nintendo version, or especially the N64 version of Star Fox, the polygonal way the ships were rendered was due not only to an aesthetic choice, but due to the fact that that's what those consoles could do. So they decided to keep the same shapes. It's still angular and ugly, and I understand that that's kind of the known aesthetic, the old school aesthetic of Star Fox, but it does not have to look like that.
Yeah.
Like when I look at, people on Twitter, a few people are saying to me like, well, the Wii U just can't do that much. And I'm like, the Wii U can do way better than this.
No, I mean,
look at Zelda. There's no excuse.
Look at Mario 3D World.
Yeah,
Bayonetta.
Bayonetta. It's like you can do way better than this. I'm really shocked the way this game looks, and I think it just the explosions, the way like when you I was paying close attention to just the little things in the trailer, and like the explosions look awful. Like when you destroy a ship in its component parts, the parts just disappear. It's like I'm like the textures are low res. There's nothing compelling about it. And I like Star Fox, and I kind of expected more about it. And what I said on Twitter was, I'm sure it's gonna be fine. I'm sure it's gonna be fun. Maybe the control scheme's not gonna be great. I have not gone hands on with it, but certainly their aesthetic choice to stick with the way the ships always looked was a mistake, in my opinion, because they don't have to look like that anymore. They did have to look like that, and they just don't have to look. You can have you don't have to have sharp 90-degree angle, 90-degree angles on your ships all over the place anymore. You can have curvature and. It's just, I don't know. It just bothers me so much that this game's been in development for so long, and this is going to be a game that was released in 2016. I feel bad for Star Fox fans.
I mean, that's the thing is, I'm a huge Star Fox fan. Like that Star Fox is one of my favorite franchises of all time, and I have a very special connection with the series. Even like the ones that people don't like Assault, I think is one of the best Star Fox games just because of the flight missions. There's very few of them in the game, and the on-foot ones suck. They're horrible. But the flight missions seem like a sequel to 64, which is amazing. SNES, it doesn't hold up. Like, it's great as a technological thing going back, but like looking at it now, playing it now, it's not.
Well, nothing like that holds up. It's the same thing with Pilot Wings or anything like that. Like
64 does though. Like,
yeah, I think so. To the degree that N64 games hold up at all.
Yeah,
I think,
but they hold up because of the gameplay, and yeah, the graphics and whatever. It is what it is.
And that's not a Nintendo 64 era thing. That is a polygonal PlayStation era thing too.
Yeah.
No, I don't disagree with you. It's just that like these were. I remember being so impressed with Star Fox when I was a kid, with like how it looked and what it was doing, and I don't know. It's a disappointing thing to tarnish the legacy of the games like that, because I really wanted to see.
The graphics don't bother me. Like, they're not good, but they don't bother me because it's like, at least it does look like Star Fox. Like you were saying, it is very like, that's how things look. That's the Star Fox universe. And I know that is just like, it doesn't need to be that way. And yeah, if we got like a beautiful cell shaded thing and like there was way more going on, that could be cool. And I'd love to see that. That's not what we're getting. I wish perhaps we'd gotten that instead. But looking at this, I don't look at this and go, oh, I don't want to play this because of how it looks.
No, I don't either. But but it's definitely. If you drop that game on me, like if you just showed me this game and you're like, this is a canceled Star Fox game from 7 years ago, I'd be like, I believe it, 100% believe it.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's also one of those things like when people compare games, like, oh, that looks like that's how Twilight Princess looked back then. It's like, that's not true. Like, this doesn't look like a GameCube game. Like,
no, it doesn't maybe look like a GameCube game. It looks like a Wii game.
I mean, but it's HD, and that's the thing is like that's all I really ever needed from Star Fox. Like, this is all right, cool, I'm good.
Yeah, but to be fair to Star Fox, I mean, there's aesthetic choices being made that you can use Mega Man as an example of like, well, why do you make that? You have to keep making 8-bit NES games when it's an 8-bit game, and why would you keep going back to that? But I still think we were playing Symphony of the Night when we did our on PlayStation 1 when we were doing our stream for charity last weekend, and I was talking to people in the comments about this is actually this game was a technological feat and it's still pretty today because it's beautiful pixel art and these multiple layer parallax scrolling in the background and all these little secrets and hidden things, whatever. Like that game still stands up. Side scrollers typically stand up very well, but when you go into the realm of 3D or whatever, you have to keep kind of evolving because there's just greater expectations, and you see that Fallout with Fallout 4 right now. Based on the way it looks compared to Dying Light and The Witcher. In other words, there's just no excuses anymore. So when I see a game like this, it's just like, well, there's no excuse for this to look like this, regardless of if they're making a choice or not. It's meh. I think, and I know I'm not the only person with that problem with the game. I mean, this is a common
that's
thing.
The thing, though. But like, my thing is just like those are all problems. But like to the hardcore Star Fox people, I don't think that's that big of an issue. Like, my issue is the gameplay. If the Star Fox gameplay is good, I don't care about any of that. And so far, it's not. And that's my biggest issue with the game. And I wanted this direct to come out and be like, hey, we're also adding just normal controls.
Yeah.
You don't have to use the gyro thing. And I'm still holding out for that because I will be shocked if they release this game and it can only control the way that we've played it so far.
No, I don't think they'll make that mistake
with the thing, because it's like it's not good.
I straight wouldn't play it if it was that way.
Me neither. I mean, I will not play it, and like that sucks.
But I don't think they're going to do that. I think they have extra time and they're polishing it. Maybe that was one of the reasons is that they had to go recalibrate.
I know, and that's what I'm expecting from it. And I thought we'd have heard it in this, but
maybe it's a marketing thing too, where they don't want to see the thing about Nintendo Directs to me, which is awesome and both awesome and funny, is that it's also very markety. Like it's like, don't forget you can buy. So like to me, since it's so consumerist focused, not consumer focused, but about consumerism specifically, it would be weird for them. It would be weird for Nintendo to come out and be like, by the way, we know the controls suck and we fix them. You know, like that's something you release,
for sure,
in a press release or something.
So I'm still hopeful for the game, and I am reserving judgments because I do not like it right now. I want to like it right now. The graphics aren't the thing holding me back. And with Star Fox Assault, like you were talking about, the Star Fox games have always been kind of a big technological meter for
the first two
systems.
Yeah.
No, but I even think like Assault graphically in a lot of the ways, no, but Assault was one of the first Nintendo games to have a fully orchestrated soundtrack. And like that's a huge deal. Like since then we've seen, Galaxy do it, and Galaxy 2 and like a lot of the Zelda games and stuff. So now it's fairly standard, but that's a level of polish that most games, any developer, don't really do. We see it with Uncharted, and we see it with some of like Sony's like top tier things. But Nintendo does that stuff in a very unique way because their overall polish of their games it's special, and
sure.
We'll see how this all goes. But I hope
for you. I hope for all the Nintendo fans out there it works.
We got some more Fire Emblem Fates details, Birthright and Conquest, 2 different games. It sounds less like a Pokemon Red and Blue situation, more like a Zelda Oracle
that's exactly what I was thinking.
And Ages thing.
That's funny. That's exactly the reference I was thinking. But the discount that we didn't get with Oracle is going to be here, which is cool.
Very cool. So it's buy one and then you get the other one for $20 as a digital download. It's 2 sides of the same story. Then there's a third story that is like a third perspective on the 2 things. That's cool.
It's God's perspective.
Yeah, I think it sounds really neat. I'm not a huge Fire Emblem fan, but I think this sounds really cool. I think it's thoughtful to, I know that there was a lot of questions if this game was going to come out here at all, and then which we knew it was, a while ago, but because of the 2 iterations, how are they going to do this? Are they only going to release one? Are they going to somehow compound them? I really think it's a thoughtful way for Nintendo to get both games out, to be like, you can just get the other one for half off. Yeah. That's pretty cool. I got to respect the shit out of that because it's a lot of money to spend on a game that I assume will not be very different. Like the I'm trying to think of an example came to my head. Oh, it was Tales of Exilia, the original Tales of Exilia, which on PS3, which could be played from the perspective of 2 different protagonists, but the story was the same, and you got some different cutscenes, but it was the same game. And my assumption is that these aren't going to be radically different, again, like Oracle of Ages and Oracle Seasons, which might even be more different from each other than these are. But that remains to be seen. But that definitely invoked those Capcom Zelda games to me. Yeah, and you can get all 3 of them in the special edition for $80 on February 19th. I'm happy we got to release it. It looks like I'm going to have a really fun spring 2016. A lot of games that I'm looking forward to there. Games you're looking forward to: Mega Man Legacy Collection. Yeah, Legacy Collection's coming to 3DS. They get that amiibo too, which I'm not super interested in. I can just take one of my Mega Man amiibos and spray it with with gold spray paint. The gold Mega Man amiibo, and it has an exclusive challenge mode
that you.
Well, the challenge was in the other ones too, but there are new challenges in this one, and I made one of them. So
That's
Moriarty's challenge will be in this, and I'm excited about that. It's really fucking absurdly hard. So I'll be interested to see what. When I designed it, I just went. It's hard, I couldn't go to their offices or whatever, and so. I was talking to them over email and over to Capcom, and I basically just took a bunch of YouTube videos that were already existing, and I'm like, from this point to this point is the first phase, and then from this point to this point in this video is the second phase, and so on and so forth. And it's really long, and really, it's gonna be quite difficult.
Classic Colin.
Yeah,
really long.
It's gonna be awesome.
Hyrule Warriors Legends for 3DS. We got some new character announcements. We got Toon Link, Tetra, Skull Kid, and a new character called Linkle. Looks like a female Link.
But instead of having a sword spin, she has a spin kick.
Yep.
Linkle.
Instead of a spin attack.
You gotta be kidding me with that
spin
fucking name.
Kick.
It's cool that, it was funny. I was just thinking about this. Not Linkle.
What?
I was just
thinking about what, and it's not gonna happen in this new Zelda game either, but it would be cool to role reverse
Link
Zelda
totally.
at some point to make Link the female, and still, I guess you'd have to role reverse their names maybe too, because you can't have like a male Zelda, I guess. But it would be cool to play as the female and go to save the male. And I'm not saying that because I want a diversity quota or whatever necessarily. I just think that would be kind of neat.
We've seen this one story so many times.
Yeah,
You've heard that all the time. That like I'd love to see a Legend of Zelda where you play as Zelda and you're after.
And you've played as Sheik and all these kinds of things. But it would be cool to play. I guess you wouldn't have to role reverse even with names. It would be cool to just play as Zelda and go to save Link, and it could still be a Legend of Zelda game.
Yep.
So I just think that would be a neat perspective. Because there does need to be some freshness thrown into the series, although I think we're going to get that actually with the Wii U game, because I really do believe that this is going to be like a true open world RPG, a very Western inspired game. I mean, I think it's. If
they do that, that sounds awesome.
I think it has the. It seems like that's what they're doing, and we've seen very little of the game, but it just seems
I think
like
the reason we've seen so little of the game is because it's that. Like the little things we've seen have just been kind of traveling around, and that says a lot for
traversing this giant open world.
Yeah. My dream Zelda game is a Romeo and Juliet 90s movie style version of it, where it takes place like in the future. And remember Romeo and Juliet, like the swords were guns and stuff like that?
Yeah. You're talking about the Leo DiCaprio, Claire Danes joint, John Leguizamo.
Opponent to be like a motorcycle and shit. I'd be fucking into that. Dragon Quest 7 and 8 confirmed to come to 3DS in early 2016. No one cares.
Huge.
Absolutely no one.
It's a huge deal. Most people probably don't care, but it's Dragon Quest 7 especially, but Dragon Quest 7 and 8 are games people really fucking love. People really love those games, and one of my friends uses the term JRPG, meaning like these are fucking insanely deep games. Like that Dragon Quest 7 is 150 hour game. I mean, that game's no joke, and a lot of people missed it because it was a PS1 game, and it came out pretty late. I think it was a 2000 or 2001 even. Release. So it came out around when, like, remember, there were some late PS1 RPGs like Final Fantasy Origins and all that kind of stuff. This was around that era, a little earlier, and so people missed out on it. And that was if I remember correctly, that was a pre-Square Enix game. That was an NX published game, and that might be one of the last NX published games. So it's cool to see that game again. And then Dragon Quest 8 was a PS2 game with a similar pedigree of just incredible depth, and I like Dragon Quest 9. I thought it was a good game. It was a 3DS or a DS exclusive, I think. I reviewed it, I think, when we were at IGN, but it was missing like a certain something about it, je ne sais quoi, that I think 7 and 8 had, because 7 and 8 were bucking the trends of what was going on in RPGs around them by remaining very true, and that's always been Dragon Quest's kind of mantra until 10, which was like an MMO for some reason. So it's cool that these games are coming out. People have been begging for these games. The last time I was in Japan, which was over a year ago, 8 was about to come out, I think, on 3DS, and it just didn't seem like it was going to happen, because these games are very dense, and localizing them is not going to be easy, so or isn't easy, but it's awesome that they're coming out. Dragon Quest is really, whether it's Dragon Quest Heroes on PS4, that Dragon Quest Builder game that's going to be on Vita, these Dragon Quest re-releases, the PS4 and Vita bundles that are in Japan, or whatever. Dragon Quest is really living again, plus the announcement that Dragon Quest 11 is going to be a traditional Dragon Quest game, which got a lot of people very excited. Dragon Quest is kind of going through a renaissance right now. In addition to like some of the games like Joker and all these kinds of games, Monsters, that are kind of the ancillary, spin-off kind of games or whatever, that are kind of still floating around. So I have a real a soft spot for Dragon Quest. I always have. It's one of the games that got me into high fantasy and into role playing games. So when I was very young, so it's exciting that these are coming out. And I haven't played a 3DS game since Zelda. So those will probably be the next two I play. and I'll probably lose myself to them because they're grind fests, and I like those kinds of games. They're not like super story driven or very pretty or anything like that. They're just fun. You know? If you like that kind of stuff.
So I skipped over this somehow, but Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow coming to Virtual Console on the 3DS.
I had no idea that they weren't out. That's so weird.
Oh my god! This is huge news. This is the first time a Pokemon game has been released digitally, like on Virtual Console, like an old one at least.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
That's why
I didn't know that was.
Why is that a thing?
So that's the thing, because of how Pokemon work, like the way that there's so much trading and battling and how the games interact and all that stuff, where, you know, Pokemon Red and Blue and then Gold and Silver, those generations happened. And then when the GBA generations happened, it was kind of like a reboot of the series because you couldn't have GBA games and Game Boy games
talk to each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then they released Ruby and Sapphire, and then they released Fire Red and Leaf Green, which were remakes of Red and Blue. And then that allowed you to catch all the Pokemon, like between the different, you know, generations or whatever. And then when the DS happened, the DS could also interact with GBA games. So that was never an issue.
Okay.
You know?
I got you.
And so Pokemon games are one of those things where they don't drop in price ever because
you always need them.
You always need them. So Nintendo has, you know, a very special thing with how they release games where their shit just doesn't ever get cheap. Smash Bros. Will always be retail price, you know?
Yeah.
And Pokemon's one of those things. So to see them actually do this is huge. I never thought that we'd see them on Virtual Console. And I'm super excited. This means that we might get to see Gold and Silver. And I would love to play the original Gold and Silver again. Like, as of now, the only ways to play those games are either originally with the consoles, which at this point is hard because my batteries are all dead and shit, so it doesn't save right, or emulation via PSP or however you want to do it. I like that there's now going to be an official way to play these games again. And, oh, yeah.
You jumping back in?
Oh, I'm jumping in.
Okay.
I think I might make Nick play, too. I want Nick to beat a Pokemon game, specifically Yellow version, Pikachu edition.
Okay.
Greg, if you didn't know,
I didn't.
You didn't know the Yellow version
means
was,
Pikachu.
It's so there's Red and Blue. Yellow was like the enhanced version of it that was based on the anime. So you come across Team Rocket, Jesse and James.
Oh,
Pikachu
right.
walks around and follows you.
Should I play
Little
one?
differences.
Is there 3 so I can play one? Do I need to play one?
Oh yeah, you should. We can each choose a different starter.
There you
and then
go.
we could trade wirelessly now, which is a new function.
Finally.
Which is cool. No link cables needed. I'm very excited about this. We got a date too. What was the date? Hold on.
No Linkle cables.
No Linkle cables.
What a terrible fucking name. Linkle.
February 27th.
It's Tingle and Linkle.
The same day
Tingle
that
was
the
my
originals
dude.
came out back in the day.
Tingle was my
Talk
dude.
shit about Tingle. I fucking dare you. Talk shit about Tingle.
I am
Watch
upset
what
about
happens.
this though because Japan apparently is getting retail versions of Red, Blue, Green, and Yellow.
I was going to
for
say, we
3DS.
never got green ever.
We never
right?
did. Well,
Which was the original Pokemon.
Yeah, we got Leaf Green when they remade it, but we didn't get a remake of Blue. It's weird.
Yeah. I was always fascinated by Pokemon Green because I was always like, this isn't like
What the fuck is it?
It's just that was like the OG Pokemon game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well.
Then the biggest announcement. All of a sudden, Cloud Strife announced in Super Smash Brothers. What the fuck? Who saw this coming?
Yeah, no one. It was weird. This is a weird one. Because I think like we said, we did a video about it, and I said this could either have like deep meaning in terms of the future, or this could really literally mean nothing at all.
And I think that's great because
yeah,
I think that this at least hints at Final Fantasy VII Remake coming to the NX. And I would love that. That this is good signs for the future of the NX right now. Not necessarily that anything's going to happen.
Yeah,
but
I think
I'd
you
rather
might be
this
reading
than
into
not
it too much,
happen.
but I don't necessarily know if you are.
Mhm.
I mean, that's the kind of the thing is this is such a weird one. This is a weird one. Cloud has literally nothing to do with Nintendo.
He has everything to do.
And
Cloud
so-
is from
and-
Theater Rhythm.
Yeah,
Final
but
Fantasy.
it's like people have been comparing this on Twitter to like when Snake was in Smash, and I was like, well, no, it's not the
That
same at
doesn't
all
count.
because Snake,
Twin Snakes.
and the first Metal Gear game was an MSX and NES game, so there's
Lineage.
there's a history. There's like a definitive history. There are 3 Metal Gear games that were on Nintendo platforms only, so including if you include Snake's Revenge as well. So it's one of these things where I see Cloud and I'm like, all right, well, Final Fantasy VII's only Nintendo connection in the main is that it was going to be a Nintendo game. And then it just wasn't. It couldn't be. They couldn't, execute their vision on a cartridge. So it's interesting in that way. What I read into this is that it might not mean anything at all, except for the fact that there's 2 things. This is a clear shot at Sony. If my mindset is right in the sense that Sony could not secure this character for PlayStation All Stars, or they
couldn't get Lightning.
No, they couldn't get anyone.
They couldn't get shit. They couldn't get Crash. If Crash comes to Smash Bros, ladies and gentlemen.
And that's possible. I mean, that's possible as well, but
You think that's the December announcement?
Oh my god.
no, I don't think they would do that, but there was a lot of rumors or conjecture that no one wanted, or a lot of publishers and IP holders didn't want their characters involved in All Stars because it wasn't a proven IP. And this says that if that was the case with Square, and we don't know if it was or not, that they actually, unlike All Stars, they see a lot of promise in Smash. And of course they do, because Smash is a fantastic series and a fantastic game. But it shows that, people were desperate for Cloud and for Crash. And they just got Cloud in I wouldn't even say the competitor. It's just the game that inspired All Stars in a way. So I think at the very least, this is an overt shot at Sony to get one of their characters. A character, I mean, there's really few characters that are more closely associated with PlayStation's history than Cloud. But again, the conspiracy theorist in me kind of thinks that this means more than just getting it. And I don't know that it's the Final Fantasy VII remake necessarily, because as far as I understand, that is a PlayStation first game. And it will come out on PC as well. Yeah, exactly. But I wonder if this maybe insinuates that the Final Fantasy VII port is going to come to Wii U.
That'd be great.
So I wonder if that might be a little more reasonable to assume than the game being ported at next.
Yeah, Smash has a weird history of kind of predicting what's going to happen, and it doesn't necessarily, like you're saying, mean anything. We saw Pit in Brawl, and then we eventually saw the Kid Icarus game on 3DS, but then we saw Ice Climbers. Still haven't seen them come back and do anything.
No, they're still missing.
So yeah, they are still missing.
Fucking
but
bastards.
there's a lot of stuff like that it really doesn't mean anything. And I think Smash kind of gave up on the whole this needs to make sense stuff a while back. Like Snake was like a what the fuck, even though he has lineage in Nintendo. Really, he's the odd man out when it came to at least up till Brawl.
No, he was. Yeah.
But now that we have the Wii U one with Pac-Man. Yeah, okay, Pac-Man games were on Nintendo, but that doesn't mean shit. Namco made the game, that's why that happened.
No, I think that's why. I mean, well, that's what I'm saying is that you didn't have to. There could have been deeper meaning in Snake or Pac-Man being on the systems, except for the fact that there's just obvious reasons of why they probably were. Snake with his lineage and Pac-Man just being Bandai Namco's like icon is Pac-Man.
Yeah.
So of course they're gonna shove him in there somewhere.
But then Ryu is another thing. Like, he's a newer character that once Ryu was added, I was like.
Nothing makes
I can
sense.
no longer predict what's going on in this game.
That too, but again, there is a significant Nintendo legacy. Like the original Street Fighter 2049 was a Nintendo game. And so it's that's an NES game, and then Street Fighter 2 was at home on Super Nintendo. That's where everyone played the fucking game because the Genesis version was so borked, with the control scheme. So again, there might be more to it or there might not. There clearly isn't with Street Fighter 5 because that's a PlayStation game, and a PC game, but that made sense to me too. I mean, that's where I played Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Super Street Fighter 2. Like I played all of those on Super Nintendo. So there is and obviously Street Fighter, the original Street Fighter. So that wasn't as confusing to me. The point I'm making with Cloud is that there's nothing connecting him
and also
to Nintendo.
They overtly, I mean, there was Final Fantasy VII music, and they even showed the Final Fantasy VII logo. Like it was built up to make it kind of look like Final Fantasy VII was coming in some form before Smash even happened. Usually Smash trailers start off with the Smash like bring, like the fire burning thing, and in the direct it didn't. In the trailer, if you watch on YouTube now, it does. But
Excuse me.
That's interesting because they usually always show that first. So they were trying to trick us. I'm so excited about this, but like you were saying earlier, I'm more excited about the fact that we're getting a fucking Smash Direct next month.
Yeah,
like that's huge.
What do you think it's going to be? Stages, characters?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's definitely characters. Definitely we'll get a release date for Cloud. It might. I am willing to bet it will be one of those. Like they're available now, and it's gonna be Cloud. Wolf will come back to promote Star Fox. Shovel Knight. I'm gonna be shocked if he's not in it. Like he has the amiibo.
Ice Climbers, for God's sake.
Maybe, I mean, at this point, the only characters in Smash that aren't back are Ice Climbers, Snake, Wolf, Pichu. I think that's it.
Pichu doesn't need to come back.
Pichu's not coming back.
That was a waste.
I will be shocked. I never thought Roy would come back either, though. So I don't know. There's no rules.
I know that there are
No
there's some technical limitations with the Ice Climbers. Apparently, I don't really believe that. And making those characters run on 3DS. That's the rumored reason why they're, or maybe
that's the reason.
That is the reason. But
That's
I just
what they
figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm sure they will.
like I know that they weren't very popular characters, but those were my characters.
Yeah.
And I loved playing as them.
You can't change your name on Sony because of technical limitations. You can't play as Ice Climber.
I have a feeling that the reason, I think that they're not there for a reason, and that is they just want to bring them back at some point as DLC. And I think that they will.
But it's not even that exciting for most people. You know, like this was something you should have done like immediately. Like this should have been the first piece of DLC, because I think now so deep, it's like people are going to be like, well, people are going to be disappointed, and that's going to disappoint me.
I think, but I think that this is going to be like a Lucas announcement where it's just like, yeah, you get Roy, well, Roy's kind of a big deal coming back from Melee, and Ryu, and Lucas, and Mewtwo as well. It's like these returns, they're not supposed to be the like, oh shit things. It's more like you also get this, just so they can say there's 3 characters, you know. But the roster's getting ridiculous at this point.
Yeah, it's getting quite it's getting quite robust. And there are some third parties that I would, you know, or some other I always really wanted Wily in the game. I would have rather had Wily than Mega Man. But to play like I've always said, play like Pokemon Trainer, which I think would have been fun
with the different masters.
But you know, we'll see. They're probably rounding it out. I can't imagine they're going to support this game for much longer after that. And not because it's not selling. It's an extraordinarily popular game. It's just like you got to kind of let it wane and maybe bring it to NX at some point.
I mean, so that's my thing is I can't believe that a Smash Direct was just announced. Like this is going to be the 3rd Smash specific Direct that we've gotten over the last couple years. Like right before one came out, they had one and they announced, I think it was like 50 huge things coming to Smash Bros. So not only did they give me a Smash Bros video, they gave me a list video announcing a whole bunch of shit. And I'm like, what? And now at this point, we can play an 8-player match where those players are Pac-Man, Mega Man, Mario, Sonic, Cloud, Ryu, and I don't know, whatever, Pikachu. That's insane.
No dry bones though.
Yeah, not yet. I doubt ever.
The Womp.
But then they had the other Direct where it announced Roy and Ryu and stuff. That's insane. Now we're getting another one. This might be the last one. Like this might be here's the final thing. But also I love that it's going right into the holidays. I'm stoked.
It's fun to see you so excited.
Oh, this is so
Usually
good.
it's always just bad Nintendo news for you.
No,
but here
this
you
is
are,
great.
a ray
This
of
is so good.
sunshine.
So good.
You're out there.
But then
making
talking about the
chlorophyll.
NX, I think that there is a chance for them to keep supporting this game and then somehow just transfer it over to NX.
I think that's probably the smart move. I think that's probably the smart move. I wonder if Bandai Namco's not already working on that. So it's it's fun. I mean, I'm of two minds with the Nintendo Direct mentality. Like I said, like it's really a very cool way to speak to your fans in a way that's unfiltered and rehearsed, so it's meaningful and impactful or whatever. I also, like I was saying, I always kind of make fun of Nintendo Direct as well, just because they are very like bye, and don't forget, and you can have this, and I'm like, that's cool, but I feel like because that's what games are, right? That's what fucking E3, every Sony conference is, every Microsoft conference, but it's not quite as like shoving
overt,
it, like. I'm like, it feels a little dirty sometimes where I'm like, I fucking get it, guys. Like, the games are for sale. Like, just show them to me and let's talk about release dates, whatever. But I don't have to kind of like, you know, it seems a little, it comes off as a little much to me too. But with that said, like, I do think it's extremely effective.
Yeah.
You know?
I love it because we either get to see it in a fun video that creates an event out of this thing, or it's the same information in a press release that's just release date and a price tag, you know? I would much rather here's stupid jokes and then this thing, just because even though I would never have watched the trailer for some of those things, now I'm forced to see the Cloud Strife announcement, you know? And I love that. It's 45 minutes. It's not like it's...
No, I mean, it's not time consuming. It's fun. I mean, it's a fun... We always said when Vita had come out and really started to die immediately that it would have been cool for them to have like Vita Directs and stuff like that, or that kind of style. But it's just, that's a Nintendo thing. And I don't know if anyone can even really mimic it or attempt to mimic it because they'll be called out on it. I think Nintendo kind of hit gold with this notion of cutting the middleman. They're good at that. Because the middlemen are not that important anymore. Like it's more about just speaking directly to your fans. You can find a group of anyone that likes to go to the Fire Emblem people, go to the Pokemon people. You can just talk directly to them. You don't have to filter it through like a bunch of other people. So they were really the first ones to realize it, and so more power to them for that.
Yep. So guys, topic 2 of the day. Colin, this one's really for you. Now, Greg, I want your thoughts as well. But
I'm glad.
For months we've been doing this show. This is the 11th month of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. And every month we've talked about Fallout 4 coming. Gonna be this thing that takes over everyone's lives. The world's gonna stop. Everyone will see the light. No video game will sell a single copy because Fallout 4 is gonna sell
I don't think I said
all of the copies. Now that it's here, now that you've put some time into the game, has Fallout 4 changed the world?
No, Fallout 4 hasn't changed the world, but I never said it was going to change the world.
I'm being an asshole.
But it's definitely changed the gaming world. I mean, it's not like changed the way we're going to look at games forever or anything like that. I don't think it's that particular game, but it's fun watching the statistics, especially on PC, how the game's doing. It sold 1.2 million copies in a day on PC. It had more concurrence than Dota, which is like ridiculous for a single player game. It's definitely a phenomenon. I mean, it's definitely clearly going to sell very, 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 very well.
I don't know if I'd call it a phenomenon, right? I think everybody's lives are just about normal.
I love how you were waiting for that.
I was like, when do I bring up the Pit-Boy arm?
So loud.
I'm excited. I've been uncorked lately.
You've been uncorked?
Yeah.
Oh, and your loudness?
Just lately?
Yeah. the last couple days of Colin and Greg Live, we've been having fun.
You brought out the good in me.
Yeah, it's been.
I forgot about how much fun that show can be.
You guys could just keep doing it. I just that's fine with me. That's totally
But
fine.
I mean, so going back to it though, like I'm being hyperbolic about it, but like you really did kind of hype this up as like it was just gonna change, like not change the world, but like
life ends.
Like things were fucked that were around this.
Yeah.
And like, did you still stand by that?
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting to watch. I think I was probably wrong about Black Ops 3, considering, and I don't know where I talked about that. I thought it was on the show, but about how I kind of didn't really understand the undercurrent of Call of Duty fandom, about how it's swayed out of nowhere to Treyarch. And people hated Treyarch like 5 years ago, so I didn't realize that had changed. So I think I saw the game. People have been sending me links. I didn't read any of them, but about Call of Duty Black Ops 3 selling extraordinarily well.
Yeah,
so
today we did a story on Colin Live from Variety that it's the biggest entertainment launch of all time, or this year. Yeah,
Of all time this year.
$550 million, right?
Yes,
Beating Jurassic World,
Jurassic
but not
World.
explaining if it included the bundle prices.
yeah, so it's definitely selling well. It remains to be seen how Battlefront's doing. Obviously, Microsoft's been weird with Halo numbers. They don't really have anything
Do you
interesting
think that
to
was
say about
because of Ghost though, the Call of Duty thing? Because forever it was just the Modern Warfare, Black Ops kind of switch off, right? And then
yeah, I mean,
Ghost was kind of the one that just came out of nowhere. And
Yeah, well, there was World at War and other things, and then Advanced Warfare was after that as well. I mean, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I mean, it was more studios going
Advanced
back
Warfare,
and forth.
you're right. There wasn't.
So it's I don't know if it's specifically that. I think it's more that there's more developers in the mix now, and these games seem to be more collective efforts as well. The Call of Duty games seem to be just a kind of a whole Activision first party kind of effort when they, with Raven and all these other studios kind of working on them, just the way Neversoft worked on them for a while.
Yeah.
So has it changed like everything? No, I mean I played it for 15 hours before it came out. I actually haven't played the game in like a week, just because other things have come up in my own life and I've not really been playing games. But it's just watching anecdotally the way people feel about it. It seems like some people don't like it. That's not surprising to me. A lot of people, I don't want to say a lot, but people didn't like Fallout 3 in New Vegas as well. The same problems they had with those games are the problems that they have with this game. So that's the kind of stuff you can't really solve for. I mean, Bethesda could potentially solve for it, I guess, but
then
they
that's
don't.
alienating the people that like what this is.
Well, that's what's fascinating about the whole thing is the people who are against it, who are saying, well, it's this, it's that, it looks bad, it's glitchy, this, that, and the other. I just feel like, what did you expect? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like this is back to what we talk about a little bit when I talk about my Batman DLC, right? Like, I had my expectations set at the correct level, and that's what this game is. You know what I mean? I'm getting what I expected out of Fallout 4, and that's awesome and great, and I'm loving it. You know what I mean? But I do see people super bent out of shape about it, that it's this, that, and the other. I'm just like, well, just because they jumped to a platform didn't mean their engine was going to suddenly like snap into shit. It'd be amazing, and there's draw distances and this, that, and the other.
A couple weeks ago, we were talking about that, where you were saying that like you expect this, but you're hoping that like something crazy changes. But like, I mean, you didn't expect that. And that's why you're not let down.
Exactly.
You're enjoying what you got. It is interesting to me to see everyone else freak the fuck out though, because like the internet right now, they're like, oh, like this is like a Telltale game. The engine fucking sucks and this and that. And it's just like, I don't know about that.
I think it's back to what we were talking about with like, again, we've talked about this on multiple shows, and we make Colin and I hatch one point usually and then just beat it into the ground through 5 or 6 shows. I had made this point, right, that I thought what this Fallout would be is similar to what Persona 5 is going to be, right, where all of a sudden there's finally this giant game that comes out in a series everyone's talked about forever. You know what I mean? And I don't know how many people who are like, it's a Telltale game. I had ever played Fallout 3 and really understood what that game looked like and felt like and ran like. You know what I mean? So now they're jumping into this game, this franchise that everyone's made out to be so beloved, so amazing, so life-changing.
Yeah.
And you get there like, this isn't that at all.
Yeah, I think the problems are predictable. I mean, I wasn't under no illusion that the Bethesda, it's a Bethesda game and it's going to run like a Bethesda game. And there's a lot of, again, hyperbole out there about the way the game looks and the way the game runs. And I understand that. I mean, all I can speak of from my point of view, having only played about 15 hours of the game, is I've not run into any game-breaking bugs or anything like super bad in the game in 15 hours. And I can tell you that I didn't go that far into Fallout 3 or New Vegas without running into significant bugs or getting stuck in the environment or something. I'm not saying that that's not happening to people. It definitely is, but it's not happening to me. So that didn't suck me out of the experience. The hyperbole about the way the game looks, if it looks like Fallout 3, like, no, it doesn't. You really don't know what the hell you're talking about if you think the game looks like Fallout 3. I mean, no offense. Like, just put the two games, put the two games next to each other. The art styles are the same. They're bland, post-apocalyptic art styles, and I'm not a huge fan of that. I think what people are reacting to is Dying Light and Witcher 3, which are these gigantic next-gen open-world games that just look and run way, way, way better, and they're no less ambitious than Fallout. And I think that's the problem. That's why I said in our review discussion, Fallout 4 is the epitome of a game that was made in a vacuum. This is a game that has been under development since before Skyrim came out. So this is a game that was in development since at least 2011, if not 2010. So it's just the nature of the way the game was developed. And I'm sure Bethesda, they're not stupid. They know that they're sacrificing one thing for the other. It's a matter of if you enjoy being sucked into that world, and you can let those things go. I do think it doesn't look good aesthetically next to Witcher 3, which is really just as big and maybe even more ambitious in some ways. And so I understand why people are upset about that. That's why I'm so impressed with the way CD Projekt Red and Techland really came out of nowhere. And are making games on Bethesda's level, because that was, see, when Fallout 3 came out, no one was making games like that. Like, no one was really, really, really making games like that except for Bethesda, whether it was Morrowind or Oblivion or Fallout 3 or Skyrim. I mean, these were kind of uniquely Bethesda games, but now it's not to say no one was making open world RPGs or anything like that. I was just to say that the breadth of those games were really unrivaled, and that's not the case anymore. So I think people are reacting to that as well. It's a matter of the content of the games and the world, and whether or not you enjoy those things or not. But I think I think that I'm not super surprised about people's reaction to Fallout 4, because it's people's reaction to Fallout 3. Nothing anyone is saying about this game on an aesthetic or engine level is anything new, you know. And so, like, none of it, not a single thing. So what I'm a bit more surprised about with Fallout 4 are the things that I don't like that have nothing to do with that. And that's not something that I hear a lot of people talking about, because I think I'm kind of in the minority on that. So I don't know.
What about you, Greg?
What about it?
How you feeling?
Love it.
Good.
58 hours in, beat the story last night. Tonight's mission will be to go back, play the other way, go make other choices to see the other side of the ending. Keep working on the platinum, and keep chipping away at it. Keep going at it. Beat it 58 hours in, level 43, I believe, is where that ended for me. Plenty more to do, tons more to do. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go out to platinum it and do all this stuff. It's like what we're talking about, right? It's what I expected. I don't think it. I don't think it. I was talking, like we talked about on the show, right? Like, this is what I expect it to be, and I hope it, supersedes those, gets past that. Did it maybe a little bit here and there, but overall, it's very much Fallout, and that's what I was in the mood for. And that's the thing is, like, I remember when I was getting excited for Witcher, like, Christine was giving me such shit. She's like, "You've never played the other Witcher games. You don't even like high fantasy. Like, why are you into this?" And I'm like, I just want to get into a world where I can exist, and that's what Fallout is. Fallout's the world I'd want to exist in terms of Witcher or Fallout, right? That's I like Western role playing games, but I like them when they are set in America, or there's these touchstones for me to connect with. Whereas when Geralt's fighting all these goddamn witches, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's happening or care. This is the game where I want to keep chipping away, and I want to get to level 50, and I want to do all these things. I'm a little bit not upset, I guess, but right, like, going back tonight and playing this other direction in my story, and then going back and going to this one place to do these quests that I didn't get the chance to first do is fun, but I'm actually kind of disappointed in that, because I made my choices and I made my thing, and now I want to explore the world after those choices, you know what I mean, with my character and what I built. But now it's like, well, now I got to go back and do these, like, fake little things, so then go back to go there. And
why do you have to do that?
A platinum. I want a platinum.
So you miss trophies because of the decisions you made?
Yeah. You definitely have to have save files before you make choices to platinum the game in quote unquote one playthrough, and not go back and replay and do a different thing.
Like late in the game.
Yeah.
Well, that's not that.
That's not uncommon.
No, that's not uncommon. But the at least it doesn't end like Fallout 3 ended.
Right.
And they actually had to like really patch that.
Yeah, they made a big deal about that when this game ends, you can keep playing.
That was like so stupid. I hated that. I think that Fallout 4, it's definitely, I mean, the game's gonna sell 10+ million. I have no doubt about that. If that's only like a couple more million, I think, than Witcher sold. So it's obviously going to be this huge phenomenon. So do I stand by this like game changing, game altering, mind altering kind of thing? Yeah, in the sense that it's a very disruptive game. Tomb Raider is supposed to be really, really good on Xbox One. I'll be really interested to see how poorly it sells.
Yeah,
I don't see anyone talking about it, and I
see a lot of people talking about it.
Well, I see people, the reviews went up, and I see people saying like, oh, it's good, and I saw a few people from IGN, like our old friends, haven't played it. I don't see any like organic conversation in our community about it at all.
There was the other day that
have you been on the Facebook page?
Not since yesterday, but no. I mean, I haven't seen
the Kind of Funny Facebook group. I mean, I was almost going to make this a topic on the show of just like the fanboyism going on of the people that are fighting for Tomb Raider versus Fallout, the Xbox One versus PS4, and I just thought it was ridiculous of how passionate people are getting about the specific things. But I see a lot of
I mean, that's fanboy stuff. I don't think Tomb Raider is going to sell very well, and I don't think it's a reflection on the game. I'll be really interested to see, based on the install base of Xbox One, if the game actually sells better on PlayStation 4. Because it'll come out there next year. I think that's probably not a likely, but a possible scenario.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, you got to take these things kind of with a grain of salt, because I'm looking more for data than passionate.
The
loud
thing about
people,
it was yesterday, it was something along the lines of, and this is wrong, but it was like, on Twitter for the trends, right? It was like 200,000 tweets about Fallout 4, and then it was like 2,000 about Tomb Raider. There was like this giant gap where it was like they were right next to each other on my little trends thing, and then the numbers were way, way off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing a lot like on Gaff and everywhere. Like, there's definitely a lot of positive chatter about it.
I want it to do well. I don't think that it's. I mean, it's doing very well. Critically, I just don't. I think it was just a huge mistake to release it then. I think they'll see that when the NPD plays out. But because between that and Call of Duty, I mean, where is the mind share really?
No,
gonna
for
go?
sure.
And then Battlefront comes out next week, so it's pretty much game over for Tomb Raider, I think. But not in a critical way, and I'm sure. I hope it's profitable. I hope I'm wrong. I mean, that's another one of those things where I hope I'm wrong, because it seems like the game's quite good, but I just don't see how it's going to exist in a world where on PC alone, Fallout 4 there's like 500,000 people at one time playing the game at any given time. It's like, okay, so that's just an extraordinary amount of mind share being taken up by a single player game, and a lot of new people are coming to the fore as well. And remember that Fallout 3 sold like 4.5 million units by the end of 2008. So like, you're going to look at 3 times that, if not more, probably with Fallout 4, just based on similar install bases of these consoles. Remember PS3 at that time was only 2 years old, which is hard to kind of contextualize, but it's true. So PS4 outselling PS3. There's gonna be more of these consoles in the wild. Fallout's very popular on PC, so I don't know. It's just there's only so much oxygen. So I mean,
I'm excited to play Tomb Raider when I'm done with Fallout, but when am I going to be done with Fallout? And then on top of that, Battlefront's going, and I want to be. I actually want to play Battlefront when other people are playing Battlefront. And it's like my Tomb Raider time keeps slipping and slipping, and then it's Thanksgiving, and I'm not bringing an Xbox One to Chicago. You know what I mean? Like
you'd have to check that shit.
Right, I'd have to get one of them Pelican cases, wheel it in there, put the big fragile.
And it's so heavy that you probably have to pay more money.
So when do you think you're gonna get back into Fallout, Colin?
I'd like to. I mean, I just have not had the moment to do it. I had a kind of a crazy weekend. We were doing Extra Life. I don't play games on Sundays because I watch football. And then we're working, and yesterday I had dinner plans. Tonight I have dinner plans. So it's as soon as possible, but I don't know. Like it just kind of life has intervened.
How many hours do you see yourself putting into it once you do get back?
I mean, I want to beat it, and I assume I'll platinum it as well. So I mean, however long that takes, but I want to spend time with it. I mean, it's nothing. The reason I've not played the game is nothing against the game. It's just that life has intervened. So I did not anticipate life was going to intervene in this way, but it has, and so I just roll with it, and I'm kind of happy about it because I'm not really anxious to play it right now.
Mm-hmm.
My mind's kind of occupied with other stuff, so it's just I'll get to it. We'll be there. And
see, that's all I want to do. Everything we do, every conversation with Kevin, I'm like, shut up and get out of my house, so I can just play Fallout. And again, not because I'm trying to run through and be crazy. I just want to exist in that world. Sorry, Kevin, you suck.
It's another big question, and I don't want like the actual answer to this because we'll save that for the end of the year probably. But the game of the year conversation, is this still in the same place going into like, you beat it, you haven't beat it yet, but just going into still having 2 months left of this year, where is this in the conversation?
It's going to be high in the conversation, I think. I mean, I haven't beaten it yet, but I don't know that right now it's not unseeded games that I prefer over it, but it's going to be it's going to win Game of the Year awards from big websites. I mean, in publications, there's no doubt about that. So, we have to remember, I think it's settling more in the high 80s in Metacritic, which is a little lower than I thought it was going to, but sites have given it 9s and 9.5s pretty universally. So it'll be hard to imagine that it's not going to be up in there, with Metal Gear.
All up in
I think it'll be between that and Metal Gear. I still think that Witcher is going to get ignored by most outlets.
We'll see. Kind of funny forums.
Mm-hmm. Well, between that and Metal Gear, Greg, I mean, that's pretty much right up your alley.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing right now is like I shied away from it on the live stream I did on whatever, where I played 7 hours on Monday, right? Because people were asking me, and when I'm in the moment, I think that's really hard. I want to step back and really take it all in and and judge them as a game by game. I mean, all that said, all that bullshit out the window. I mean, having just beaten it last night, I think Metal Gear is still my pick. I love Fallout. It's great, but it is Fallout. It is what I expected. The ending didn't blow my hair back. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, okay. And like this morning I was talking to Christine about it in vague reference because she's still like, you can hear her screaming as she streams it right now, right? Of just like, for me, Fallout games are about the journey, not the destination. And so there was like great moments. There's so many great moments in the journey. You know what I mean? So many things that I remember in my moments and da-da-da-da-da. And I think they did so much right. Like I keep going back to, you know, the fact that you finally speak and you see yourself when you talk and all these different things. But like overall, especially after trying and failing to platinum Metal Gear Extra Life, right?
Yeah.
Like jumping back into Metal Gear, it's like, this is such a good fucking game. Like this is so well put together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm really excited to see where this goes with all of us.
I'm excited to get Tomb Raider in the mix because that is the thing. Like, you know, that is next for me as far in terms of single player games, and I like the first Tomb Raider a lot. You know what I mean? And like the reaction it's gotten from our critic friends. You know what I mean? Alexa, Mitch, all these people who talk about it. I'm like, oh,
I mean, the way they're talking about it too, it's like it sounds hyperbolic. Like some of it's just like that sounds too good for what I would think a Tomb Raider game could be. But it's still downloading at my house.
I'm not
bring your unit over here.
Yeah, but now it's like last night it was like 56% downloaded. So I'm like, I'm not gonna stop it now.
I'm not surprised that it's good. I mean, this was a weird thing when people were talking about it where I'm like, why is everyone surprised? You know, like I'm not
surprised it's good.
I had no doubt it was gonna be great. I mean, what I was concerned, I felt bad for them because they're sending it out to die, and like I just don't understand how you can't see it any other way. But like Aaron Greenberg told us on the podcast a few weeks ago, there was really no good choice. Yeah, like they move it out of the way of Fallout, and they're just going to be in the way of something else. So it's that might even be more catastrophic for them. So I get that. I just felt bad for them because I knew the game was going to be great, and you know, I feel bad that it's gonna, you know, it's just not going to be able to shine the way it probably should be able to shine. But I still don't know that I'll play it until it comes to PS4. I don't see that happening. Because after Fallout, I'd like to maybe, you know, try some other games that I missed this year. I still want to go back and beat Dying Light, which I fucking adore. I adore that game, and I'm interested to see since I haven't played it in 6+ months if I still adore it or not. And then I really, like I keep saying, I really want to go back to BioShock Infinite and Evil Within, and so I'm gonna try to use that time this fall and winter if I can to kind of get through those games. I'm not really trying to. Like I said on our Fallout 4 review, I'm not trying to be up any game's ass anymore. Like, and that's why I was trying to be a little more restrained when I had time to play Fallout 4 to not play it the way I would play games back in the day, because I'm kind of just trying to savor them a little bit more and play at my leisure and mix things up a little bit in terms of my entertainment, so that I'm really looking forward to going back to it. And now I'm in a position where I'm really looking forward to going back to Fallout. I just don't have time now, so it's just the way the cookie crust crumbles.
That's just the way it is. Doodle-doo, doodle-doo.
Topic 3 for the day comes from Patreon. Thank you all for supporting us on Patreon. Your names will be flowing across this beautiful screen. I'm not sure which way, but one of those two.
No, they scroll down. Oh,
it's down?
Yeah.
Man, I haven't seen them for a while.
They come through and they go like this.
Well, that's cool.
Go down.
Also, this topic brought to you by Patreon from Brandon Ferguson. He says, thanks for the help. My Gamescast topic is, what video games have brought out the most emotion in you while playing? Thanks.
I'm interested in hearing you answer this, Tim. I feel like Colin and I talk about this stuff all the time.
Emotion stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, I have so many. And the thing is, emotion doesn't necessarily mean sadness. I think a lot of people kind of, you know, put those two things together. We talk about things like Journey and, you know, Last of Us and we talk about Walking Dead a lot.
Yeah, Gone Home
and all that. And it's like, yeah, those are, for the games I've played of that, those are definitely emotional experiences. But for me, like the most emotion I've ever felt during a game, I would say is Yoshi's Island, first game I ever beat. That was an emotional moment.
Yeah.
But the final boss fight in that, I remember it being so epic and feeling so grand, and just like it was different than the rest of the game. And like Baby Bowser turns giant. He's like in the fucking like way out there, and like the Super Nintendo's using some effect that like I hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the shit is going on? I remember being overwhelmed with like, it felt epic. The emotion of just like, holy shit, this is intense. And it was just a fucking Yoshi game, you know? And with Pokemon, playing through, anytime there was a choice that you had to make that would affect stuff that you couldn't go back and change, choosing your starting Pokemon, choosing which evolution Eevee turns into, where are you going to use the Master Ball? Pokemon felt like it was my life. It felt like just as important to me as going to school and getting good grades to get into a better school, to get a job, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every single choice felt like it had so much resonance in my entire life.
Nice.
Because all my friends were talking about the same things. All my friends were making the same decisions, and we had to make sure that all of our decisions kind of correlated so we can trade each other and you know, do all that type of stuff. And like that was definitely an emotional thing where it just took over. I've made a couple other notes. Metal Gear. There's so many moments.
Sure.
I think the Sniper Wolf in Metal Gear Solid.
That's what I always talk about when it goes back to me, and I talk about Metal Gear being a turning point in my life in terms of what I when I figure out what video games could be or where they were going, kind of thing. And yeah, I always go back to that. It's me and Poe in my basement playing that on a summer night, right? And it's like two teenagers sitting there, and we're just like totally enraptured as like she's saying goodbye, and Ocelot comes up crying, and like we're both trying not to get choked up while we watch this. Probably me, as you know, I tend to be a crier.
Yeah, I mean, but that moment it definitely hit me, and then Metal Gear Solid 3, I think the entire end. Most of the plot of that game, but the most emotional moment in video games ever for me, Metal Gear Solid 4, the microwave.
That is
holy shit. And I mean, the reason it is because they treated it like a movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's the multiple aspects going on, the music swelling, everything was edited and cut perfectly. Like that wasn't so much gameplay as much as it was an interactive experience.
Right.
But like they played with my emotions so much.
Yeah.
And I felt exactly what they wanted me to feel. And that was 4 games of build up to that moment. And that game specifically, every single thing you did led to that. And like, it was overwhelming,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I remember after it stopped, I wanted to save and just redo it again, just to be like, holy shit, and like show people.
That's the best when you're playing something, this is awesome.
Yeah.
This moment is awesome. You can't believe it's happening. You know what I mean? For me, like those awestruck moments, right? There's always one in the Batman games from Rocksteady, right? When I remember when, and then I immediately go, wait, which one was it? I believe it was, the original Arkham Asylum when I was playing that for review, right? And you get dosed with scarecrow grass, right? And you turn the corner and you are young Bruce Wayne, and you're like walking down the hallway and your parents are there dead at the thing. And it was like, it was just like, I didn't, not knowing anything about Rocksteady and what they were going to do. I for sure wasn't expecting that. You know what I mean? And then you get there and that happens, and you're like, well, what a fucking amazing moment. And then even in Arkham City, there's moments like that. And then Arkham Knight, no spoilers. There's still things where all of a sudden it's like, holy shit! Like it seemed like every time a new one came out, they would lull you into that sense of, yep, it's Batman. You're punching and reversing and this and gliding, and then all of a sudden here's this crazy thing you didn't expect them to do, and you sit there and you're like slack-jawed watching or playing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the same thing even with Fallout. Again, no spoilers, but like there's this one quest I went on, and I don't know if everybody gets it or what, but like it's like it's gonna be this thing. It's a death-defying mission, and you suit up and you're going and you're marching, and it's a part of the game that looks like nothing else, and you're just going and going, and it's just like, as I'm doing, I'm like, this is fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Like, this is not what I expected to happen in this game, in this moment, on this mission. And then there's spoilery stuff all over that. But yeah, it's just cool.
No, I mean, a moment like that for me was surprisingly in Twilight Princess. Like, everyone talks about Ocarina of Time and Hyrule Field and all that stuff. But for some reason, Twilight Princess had that moment for me, like kind of just, I had experienced it in Ocarina. But then Twilight Princess, just the graphics, like, it felt so vast in a time where I already knew what vast meant in video games. And I remember being on Opponent, just running around and just being like, holy shit, this area is huge.
Yeah.
This is fucking Hyrule. This is the best Hyrule we'll ever get. It wasn't. But
that was the same thing with Ocarina of Time. People always talk about Hyrule Field. Yeah, but for me, like the moment in the touchstone crazy moment of that is when you jump forward in time for the first time and you're, Teen Link or whatever, and you open those doors, and they had done such a great fucking job of setting up what like the town square looked like and how lively and bright and vibrant and fun and light. Light in terms of brightness, and then light in terms of character and like emotion, right? And you open it up, and it's fucking mummies and it's destroyed shit, and there's like zombie. You're like, holy shit, you know what I mean? Like I remember flipping out at how great that distinct difference was. You know what I mean? That they totally. You don't even, when somebody's setting something up in a game and you don't even know it till you get there, and then like there's the flip, and you're like, oh, that's why this was like that.
Yeah, man. But the moment that I didn't expect from the game was in Twilight Princess, the boss fight. I don't remember what the
French
boss
fingers.
was.
He's got his hands out like this. His fingers are going.
But it was when you get the dual hook shots, and you're like fucking Spider-Man around, and you're fighting this like giant, not dragon, but like big bird thing, and like it's going around those 4 towers, and you have to hook shot from the tower to tower, and it's like. I might even be remembering it more epic than it was, but there's like fucking like rainstorm happening and like lightning and shit. And I remember being like, holy shit, this is Zelda.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe that this is in this game.
Yeah.
And there's just overwhelming emotion with these moments that like I'll just never forget. And Smash Bros, I have a million of them.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the whole, I've written about it. arguably my most favorite famous non-review from IGN, right, is how Infamous affected me when I was going through my divorce or whatever, right, and why I'm so connected to that. But like in Infamous 1, when you're playing, right, and you like. You probably did you ever play Infamous?
No.
I forget. And like Trish drops or whatever, and there's some other lady drops, and you have to make your choice of who you're gonna save, right? And like I'm playing through as the good guy or whatever, and you run and you get the other person, and it turns out Trish is gonna die regardless. But like Trish's final words, so you're like, holy shit, like this is so fucking touching. You know what I mean? Of like, she's like this, her dying words are me as good Cole, right? That she wants me to go on and save people, and I'm doing the right thing. It's like fuck, that's awesome. You know what I mean? Like what a great thing for this like weird open world superhero game you've gotten where I used to be a bike messenger.
I mean, deaths are always one of those things where deaths are made to make you feel stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And like when games do it, it's either overly cheesy, just like movies,
Yeah.
or it fucking hits right. And like the end of Final Fantasy X was one of the first times where there was like a big build up to I mean, it's a death. It's a weird death, but it's a death. And when Tidus fucking like goes to hug Yuna and like disappears through her and like just jumps off the ship, like disappearing into like, because he's a fucking dream or whatever, because that game's weird. I remember being like, holy shit, like video games are making me sad.
Yeah,
you know? Like I feel sad that these characters aren't going to be together. And then Final Fantasy X-2, when the plot gets way convoluted, and then there's like the same characters from 1,000 years ago, whatever, and there's like a flashback of them fucking standing with their lover getting shot down by these armies. I was like, holy shit, like this is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But that's Final Fantasy. Portal was one that made me feel very uneasy.
Really?
Yeah, like playing through the game, I love that game so much. But when you're playing, I didn't know that towards the end of the game you like leave the beautiful looking stuff and
go behind the walls,
behind the walls and all that stuff. And that for some reason it hit me in a very creepy way, where I was like, it felt like a horror game to me at that point, and like it scared me more than most horror games do.
Interesting. Portal for me, I thought you were gonna go the opposite way and be like, you know, the humorous, the funniness, you know what I mean, how much that brings out, you know, because I remember like with Portal 1 even like laughing at GLaDOS and but then Portal 2 especially with Wheatley, once you get them involved, and how genius the humor is in that, right, where if you sit there and like Wheatley keeps talking to you and he just wants you to say apple or whatever, and he keeps like doing it, and like if you just let him go, Stephen Merchant just goes and goes and stuff, right? And like those are games I sit there and think about like having fun with in terms of laughing, you know what I mean, like moments we remember in terms of emotions or whatever it's, you know, stirring up there, having a good time at that point.
Yeah, man, emotions are crazy.
Emotions are crazy. Tim Gettys.
Fucking fear. There's nothing that scared me as much as being at Kevin's fucking uncle house and then playing.
Just period. End the sentence there.
But playing Resident Evil for the first time, and the fucking dogs just like even in
through the glass. Yeah.
No, not even through the fucking glass. I'm talking about just the fucking dogs in the intro, like zombie dogs.
Yeah.
Period. I was a little kid, and that was scary as shit.
Yeah.
And then the first zombie that turns around, like that iconic first shot.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's nightmares.
See, it's similar to me, like or similar to you, like you're talking about emotions, like how when I first went in, Gone Home, we talk about all the time, and how, you know, I went and hugged Christine afterwards and da. But when I start Gone Home, right, like I had specifically or on purpose been told by friends to stay away and not read anything about it. It's just awesome, go play it. And so you start that game, and I was convinced it was a horror game. You know what I mean? Knowing nothing about that, I'm in this creepy house. Everybody's disappeared.
Gone Home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you keep finding books about like ghosts and satanic stuff and stuff. And so I kept doing the thing of like what did I hear? Like turn around, like look around, and then I'd go side. There'd be a doorway, and I'd come up to the side of it and peek my head back around and keep going, because I'm like, I'm gonna trigger this ghost somehow. Where's it gonna pop up? Da. You know what I mean? And it doesn't happen. And then that game's so special, knowing nothing about it going in, because I go from that to being like, this storyline's cool, but I gotta be worried about the ghost. What's happening this way? This ghost. I'm like, wait a second. Is what I thought the subplot of the game the plot of the game? Like, what the fuck?
That's fucking cool. Braid's another one for me, like in terms of like going into it thinking one thing and like, my god. That shit's just.
You saw the Soldier Boy video and you're like, oh, just rewind time with this kid. Great.
Exactly. And a weird one for me, Star Fox 64. When you beat it on hard, you get the special ending, and then Fox's dad comes back, and like I was like, oh my god. And I take the story of Star Fox way too seriously.
Good for you.
I was always super into it and thought it was fucking really cool, and I loved the cast of characters, and I thought they created such a good world even like specifically 64.
Yeah.
Of just like depending on which path you go, different people come and just for one level they'll be with you, and it's like, oh, this is Fox's friend from college, or oh, this is Falco's old girlfriend, like all this shit. I'm like, that's fucking cool. I want to know more about these characters.
You like the Star Fox
what's Cat up
cinematic
to?
universe?
You know, what's Bill the Bulldog doing? Like, come on, I want to know more.
Sure.
Hopefully, Star Fox Zero will explain all of that.
Sure. I think about emotional games that I'm connected to. I think always about wrestling games. And I've told my wrestling stories of chasing him down, but like the one that I don't talk about too much, right, is just like I get to Mizzou. I'm a freshman there. I know no one, not a single person on that campus other than like my roommate who I met over the phone. You know what I mean? And on that first week of classes, I left my dorm room, turned the corner, and as I was going, I heard the SmackDown menu music for SmackDown 2 on PS1. And like I went back and I'm like looking door to door, and finally I looked in and saw who would go on to be one of my best friends at Mizzou, John, playing it. I was like, you play SmackDown? And I'm like some crazy guy in my backpack with blue hair and a Hawaiian shirt. You play SmackDown? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm coming back and playing SmackDown with you tonight. And like that was the thing, you know what I mean? Like that, like.
And then he moved out.
Huh?
And then he moved out.
Yeah, I came back that day and he's just gone.
never saw John
All
again,
his things are gone.
But he was your best friend.
What about you, Colin?
There's a lot. I mean, I think Journey is the most emotional game I've ever played. And it's a game I refuse to play again. Because of that. I mean, a game made me cry. And I have no idea why. Still have no idea why. There was just something about that game it's like really one of the great games.
The
of all time.
scarves.
There's something very
No, I mean,
there's
it's
something
crafted,
very,
like,
there's
what I was
something
saying-
very fucked up about that
Yeah.
game. Like
It was
I
crafted to make you feel that way.
yeah, like I have no idea what, like it was really, and I know I can appreciate, even though Genova Chen doesn't really talk a lot about it, we've talked to him about it, I can appreciate the crushing weight that they're under to deliver after that, because they're not going to be able to deliver a game like that again. It's just that, I mean, I hope that they are, because then they really are a very, very, very special developer, but Journey's like a once in a lifetime kind of game, I think.
I mean, to give him credit though, Flower I would put on my list of like most emotional games. Like,
Flower's emotional, but it also has a more overt story,
Yes,
I think. You know what I mean? As opposed to Journey, where I'm like, I don't even know what this game's about. It's about death, but like I don't know. Like I don't know. I just remember like crying when I was playing it, and I'm like at the end, it's just like a whole thing. Yeah, I think Final Fantasy 2 is definitely or 4 is one of the most emotional games. When the twins kill themselves to save you is like a really, although that's you find out more later, but at that time you think that they commit suicide and to save the team, and it's like super. The beauty of those games, of those 16-bit games, is that they didn't have any presentational excuses. The writing had to be good, the music had to be on point. It's just sprites. And I remember like the music stops and they cast stone on themselves to stop these walls from going in, like to crush the party, and they're just and like they turn the stone and the walls stop, and the entire party's just sitting there being like, what the fuck? These like 10-year-old kids just killed themselves in front of us. And it's Porum and Palom are like some of my favorite characters of all time, and I've always wanted to get a white and a black cat named Porum and Palom, because they're white and black mages. And that was a really super emotional scene. And Final Fantasy IV, when you really think about that game, is actually really sad. It's probably the saddest Final Fantasy game. By far, I think there's a lot of death and fucked up shit in that game. There's you start the game out committing an act of terrorism, like, and you have no choice but to do it. And that's what sets Cecil or Cecil, depending on how you want to say it, and Kane on this they go to this village to deliver a package. I don't know if you people out there know, they go to this village to deliver a package. The package ends being this huge bomb that destroys this entire city,
just like Infamous.
And it and like they're doing all these things in the name of the king. They're like both officers in this army, and they're both like, we don't want to do this anymore. Like, what are we doing? And the game, and then you meet Tella, which is he's an old mage, and it's just the game's like a really emotional kind of roller coaster. And I think the same thing with Final Fantasy VI. The overtones of love in Final Fantasy VI I think are really cool with Cecil or not with Cecil, with Locke and Celis. I love the opera house scene, which is one of the most famous scenes in any Final Fantasy game by far. Where you watch Locke try to like fake seduce Celis to trick Setzer into coming and kidnapping her, but he's really like falling in love with her. And again, it's like it's sprites. It's all sprites, and like the music is just right, and the writing is just right, and the localization is just right, and so in a way that and then the entire world ends in Final Fantasy VI, and that's like another really cool thing, like where the world just is destroyed. This like it's a very the way that Emperor Gestal and Kefka deal with each other is a very Emperor and Darth Vader way, where like Kefka's not the main bad guy or the guy with any power until later. Gestal's the one who's like has this out of control like thirst for Magitech and like these espers and like empowering the human race, and they have this whole city dedicated to it, and And it's not until later that Kefka, like, basically like flips the script on him and becomes the bad guy. And that's why Kefka's like my favorite bad guy of all time in any video game, because he's just like, he's insane. And he has no real motive, like, which is why it's so, like, he's so unsettling. It's the same reason why I think people find the Joker unsettling, because and maybe why Kefka is a crazy clown. Like, that's what he is. He's a court jester. And, we're watching the world end and being on the floating continent, and Shadow might die on the floating continent. You have to wait for him to come back. Like, you can leave without him and he dies. So there's like a lot of really cool stuff in there. There's a lot of undertones about who Realm's father is, and is Shadow Realm's father. And like, if you sleep and ends with Shadow in your party, you have like a 1 in 100 chance of seeing these random ass dream sequences that tell these fucked up stories. And like, there's just so much. That game is fucking awesome. I mean, like, Final Fantasy VI is like so superior to most other role playing games, and just the way it tells its story. It's like it's an art form. I would love to see them remake that instead of 7. And then Wild Arms is like that's one of my favorite games, and that game's really sad when you find out, I'm sorry, I'm going to spoil it. It's 19 years old. When you find out Rudy, who's the main character, is not even human. It's like super fucking weird and sad and transcendent moment in that game. In terms of like humor and stuff, I don't think I ever knew a game could make me laugh like South Park: The Stick of Truth made me laugh, and the way I connected with that game that's really one of the great games I think of last generation.
Yeah.
When you really think about it,
Totally.
because of how fucking just ridiculous it was. I didn't know a game could do that. I knew a game could make you feel feelings, but I didn't know a game could make you really like hysterically laugh at it. And like all the like the scene when they're like fucking each other, and like, but you're like walking. Aren't you like a dwarf or something?
Yeah, you're like ant-sizing, like your dad's balls are swinging in, and
it's like
fucks your mom.
like so.
Jesus.
There's like so many, and I'm like, this is so fucking awesome. What a fantastic game!
That game was so good and so funny, and Altano and I were playing at the exact same time, and so I would just text him. I'm like, "Have you gotten here?" Like, oh my! And I've never laughed like this. You know what I mean? I've never played a game and had this much fun with it.
In terms of like mystery, and the feelings of just imminent doom, I think nothing beats BioShock, which is why I think that game's really special. Rapture is just a character in and of itself, and that game made me feel a lot of weird emotions in terms of like just a foreboding, which I don't think a lot of games like Resident Evil does. Like, horror games do that, but it's because you expect the next jump scare or something like that. But like, you didn't really know what you were scared of in BioShock. You had no fucking idea. Like, it's really unsettling when you run into a Big Daddy for the first time and he has no interest in you. And you're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And then the first time, and you just stand there and he just walks around you, and you're like, should I attack? And you attack, and then he just totally fucking like loses his mind, these little girls like running around, like going in and out of these tubes, like, and then it's like, what the fuck is going on here? So BioShock that's why I was so disappointed in Infinite, because I was like, it kind of lost the feeling of that. I mean, it's hard to replicate that, but so there's that, and I think Dead Space is another one of those games that gave me like this really this feeling of mystery and foreboding. I think that the game is supremely special. I think that might be
a claustrophobic thing too.
Yeah, and I think that might be the best survival horror game of all time. When you really, really, really sit and think about that game. I mean, a lot of people love Resident Evil 4, and I appreciate that, but there's something about Dead Space 1 where I was like, this is a really, 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 really special game. So those are the ones that come to mind for me.
Dead Space 1 for survival horror versus Resident Evil 4, right, is just the different of your protagonist, I think. Like, right, Leon Kennedy is a badass. He's been sent in to save this girl. That's the thing. Isaac Clarke is an engineer, and he is desperately trying to get off this thing, or at least, Leon Kennedy right there, or desperately get off this thing, or just find his girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like, it's awesome.
Well, final topic of the day, as always, brought to you by the Kind of Funny forums. Go over to kindoffunny.com/gamescast topic. Submit your topic for the show, just like Innocence did. Hey guys, this might be quick, but oh, what the hell. My topic suggestion is Valve and Half-Life 3. Will they ever release it? It may seem obvious to some, but in reality, Valve doesn't have to. Thank you, and keep up the great work.
I think they will, but I agree that they won't have to. And I've said it before. I always love Charles Laniet's idea that they'll just release it when it's done. They won't even announce it.
Lead up, no nothing. Just
They'll
here
just
it is.
put it up. And I would love if they did it where they didn't even say anything. Like they just upload it. There's nothing ever said.
I mean,
they
that would
respond
be
to any emails.
One of the most epic things in humanity's history. Now, Half-Life 3 just fucking came out.
Now, to the credit of his part of this question, where it's like they don't have to. It's true they don't have to, and in fact, they have more to lose by doing it than gain. Because the fact remains that Half-Life is a really beloved franchise, but it is not Grand Theft Auto or something, like where there's not a financial imperative for them to do this. They might hurt themselves, not financially because they have so much money from Steam, but they might hurt the creative. Like if Half-Life 3 isn't good, or not as good as people expect it, then they
it's
then
not
they
even
might
good.
hurt
If it
themselves.
isn't fucking life-changing, fantastic, and that's the problem. It's Duke Nukem Forever. It's The Last Guardian. It's been cooking for so long, and
Well, it's more than those, I think.
sure. But I mean, to give you a touchstone of like it's been going for so long. Expectation and hype is to such a fever pitch without anything. You can't do it. It can't come out and not be amazing.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely the problem.
Yeah.
For them is, I don't know. It's the same. It's what I said about The Last Guardian. Would have. I don't know in what state of readiness it was on PS3 when Clements played it a long time ago when he went to see NGP in Tokyo. So this was in 2010, maybe 2011. I don't know like what state it was in at that point. But would Sony have gained more financially and critically if they just released a 6.0 than release this game now that cannot, no matter how good it is, will never live up to the hype? Like Last Guardian has to be one of the best games of all time to live up to the hype that it's behind it. And I think that's one of the problems of, they must see something in the game. They've dumped a lot of money into it. It's going to sell well, but if I were there, I would have definitely considered canceling it. So I'm sure they did consider that. So it's a similar conundrum where the game, no matter how good Half-Life 3 is, it's not going to be as good as people want it to be, which is a credit to Half-Life 2, but also a problem for a company like Valve that has no financial imperative to make a game ever again. And, they can just make their money passively on Steam and be fine. So.
Do you think we'll see it before 2020?
Yeah, I do.
Half-Life 3 before 2020?
I think it's in development right now. I think it has been for several years.
Yeah, why not?
If it's not before 2020, they might as well not even release it.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it's been 13 or 14 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, why even bother at that point?
Yeah.
They're almost at the point where I was like, why even bother now?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it pretty much is at that point. Like in terms of at least, getting new people on or whatever. It's just don't do it or do it. Cool. Borden says, how much do you guys think streaming support or the lack of could tip the scales of VR reality really catching on?
Streaming games or stream movies?
I think what he's talking about is there's no way to stream VR like with Twitch and YouTube and all that stuff.
But that's the thing. Now hold on, isn't there? The whole the PlayStation VR's thing is that you can have it displayed on a TV while you play it, and it isn't. I mean, it is Oculus, right? When you look at an Oculus thing, it's the thing where it's got the two windows, right? That are like in your life covered up and to make one giant thing, but there it looks all fucked up. PlayStation says that it's going to be that. So if it's like that, then I mean, what you wouldn't be able to read the chat, but you'd be able to have it on and talk, and then have if I'm playing a game and Colin's next to me, he can watch what's happening, read the chat, be part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the whole Twitch is definitely a benefit to games, but I don't think it's like a game changer. I don't think it's going to like screw everything. But VR stuff, I think Twitch does help for specific types of games. I think VR experiences or games that we see might be those games.
That's a great point. I had not actually thought about what it's going to be like with VR on Twitch. And like we always talk about trying to overcome people's ignorance of it. How do you get people to do it? You have to understand. You have to be using it to understand it. But if you can do it where you're on green and you're moving your head and it's moving with you. Granted, it's another huge fucking. Let's see how latent it is, and let's see if there's any lag or anything like that. But that could be actually a really interesting way to showcase those games.
Billwood Marbles says, "Hey guys, my question is regarding local multiplayer. My love for video gaming stems from the memories I have my friends and I sitting on the TV playing Split Screen GoldenEye, Mario Kart, all that stuff. Still today, the majority of my gaming takes place over Split Screen, Rocket League, or party games such as Fibbage. You guys know what Fibbage is?
Yeah, Fibbage is awesome.
Don't know what Fibbage is.
It's like a little game show game you're playing there.
It's a game where like it'll ask you a question, then you have to make a fake answer to the question, and then the people have to pick which answer they think is real.
We should play that.
It's a great game.
That sounds good.
I last played it on Xbox One with our friend Nate.
However, it's becoming increasingly difficult to find games that offer local multiplayer outside of the Wii U. And the exclusion of Split Screen and Halo Guardians increases my concerns. What are your thoughts on this? And do you feel as though local multiplayer is on its way out completely? I mean, I feel... Yeah, it's like it's already out, but there will always be people that like Rocket League is a perfect example of they understand the importance of that, and that's what that game was designed to do.
Right.
So
I feel like since I've been in the industry, it's been on its way out. That's all you ever. I mean, it's just that as the machines get more and more powerful, the harder and harder it is to do this, to render the game twice, to make it look as good, to deliver the experience you want.
Well, and in addition to that, with online going from this like kind of niche thing that's just kind of a gimmick to being the way people play games, Split Screen is on its way out. I remember when the first time that I was upset by a game not having Split Screen was Counter-Strike on the Xbox.
Yeah.
It came and I was just like, well, I'm fucked. I love playing Halo split screen, but I'm not gonna fucking play this shit online. I just want to play with my friends, and I couldn't. So that stopped me from playing that game entirely. And now with Halo 5, I mean, it sucks. Like, it is definitely like when my friend's birthday comes up around Thanksgiving, we're playing all weekend. We're not going to be playing Halo 5 because it's not split screen. We'll play Master Chief Collection just for fun, you know. So
I mean, they're technical limitations. I mean, people have to remember that it's really hard to make a game run twice or 4 times these days because they're so intense. These games are so intensive and they push the units so hard. But people also have to remember that in the day and age of connected video games, even if you're playing single player, like on PlayStation Network, developers and publishers are collecting data about the way you play games, and they have heat maps of the way where you go in maps. They're like all sorts of things, very minute, depending on the way they've calibrated their game, to be able to see, like, do people like this weapon? Does anyone go in this corner on this fucking map at all? Does anyone find this collectible? Like, they know, they have very detailed statistics, and I'm telling you that they looked at their stats and they're like, no one cares about couch co-op. You know, like they if it was important if they looked at Halo and they're like, this is actually important to lots of Halo gamers, then it would be in there. They would have figured it out. But they don't do that because they know that it's not important anymore. Right. So like the people
even in addition to that, though, it's not necessarily that it's not important to a lot of people. It's just the fact that, like, they also want to control the narrative. They want more people playing online. So by not having the split screen,
why do they care if people play online though? Like, why does the developer care, like, how you play the game? If they looked at Halo and were like 90% of people play Halo couch co-op, like, they're not going to cut it out. They probably looked at it and they're like, less than 5% of the people that buy Halo play couch co-op. So why would we even bother? You know, like, Microsoft and Sony have every intention of making you play online, so you pay $60 a year for that. But the publishers, I don't think. In fact, it's cheaper for the developers for you not to play the game online. So I don't agree with that. I think that they're looking at very detailed statistics on everyone that's putting these games into their machines and finding out that this is not important. Like, it might be important to some of the people that write into this, or people on, you know, something's important to everyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, something missing out of a game is going to be important to literally every single person, but they have to make choices.
Remember, it goes both ways. I always tell a story, right, that, you know, they went out of their way, the Lego guys, to make sure that Lego Star Wars, when it came to 360, right, and I'm getting all this right, when it made the jump or whatever at the time, and they put out the one collected edition of all of them, they put online in there for like the first time ever in Lego, and no one fucking used it. And so no Lego game again has ever had online co-op, because it's just, well, why put money into servers, this, that, and the other to do it? It's the same thing. And that's what you're talking about. Like, I think the places he's referencing, you know, he's talking about Rocket League, you know, we've talked about games like Chariot, these indie games that are easier to play games together with couch co-op, Diablo, right? Like, those are developers saying it's not only important if you're starting from not scratch, I guess, but if you're starting from a game where you're going to get big like Rocket League, you know your game works that way, and it works well that way. It's fun to play those games that way. You know what I mean? Like, that's the whole thing. That's the funny thing is I love local co-op. Like, I love playing with Christine, and I hate split screen. So just suck it up and get another TV and put them side by side. Admit you're a nerd.
Get another TV,
so many other people
and another
do
Xbox, and another copy of Halo.
You should have all those things already if you're a true fan.
No, I mean, I understand where he's coming from. It sucks if people are into those things. It's just that, like, that's a dying way to play games. It's just not. It's not going to be that way anymore. There's always going to be local co-op games, but you talk about Chariot or something like that. Like, this is a very easy to render side scroller that even if you play it co-op, like, it's just another sprite on the screen. It's not
That's
even.
why
It's
I
not
said
even
the
like
indie games, because so many of them are like that. Yeah.
And Rocket League's just rendering a soccer field 4 times. So it's not like it's. You know, it's just
it's not Halo.
It's not. It's just like running Halo 5 is probably really complicated to run twice.
But I mean,
if you want to, like,
Halo not having split screen co-op is not Halo. You know, but
sure, but you have to ask yourself if, like, 343 and back in the day Bungie were looking at statistics and realizing that these things were going to die like that. Like, they're keeping these in to placate a certain amount of people. And when you're making a game, you know, when you're a producer of a game, you have producers live in spreadsheets. They live in fucking, you know, calendars, and, like, they have resources that need to be allocated to these certain things that need to be hit at these certain checkpoints. And if you really see that, like, and I don't know the numbers, but if you see 5% of the people that play Halo 4 use couch co-op, then it's like, no, we're cutting it. There's no reason to have that in the game anymore, because we're only going to annoy 1 in 20 people that play the game. And we might even sell more copies. Like, that, there's also a financial imperative too. Sure. So you're really actually, if you assume 5% of the people that put the game into the system are playing, you know, couch co-op, then that you're actually affecting 2.5% of the people that actually bought your game. So it's like, so the numbers are even smaller. So I don't know. I'm just assuming that they're looking at shit like, just like any developer does, just like they did with Lego, where they were like, well, why would we put online in this? I think it makes sense. It's the same reason I think why, when they released the Uncharted collection on PS4, they were like, yeah, Uncharted is popular online, and Bluepoint can probably manipulate these and put the servers up and stuff like that. But why? Like, X amount of people played it.
Yeah.
You don't play Uncharted to play online.
George Love says, hello, lads. I was wondering what location and time period you'd like to see used in an open world game. Is there any city or country or a particular point in history that you would think would be particularly interesting to explore? And what aspects of that time and or place would you like to see included? I thought this one was really interesting for you.
I mean, the reason I wanted to play Assassin's Creed 3 so badly was because of its like the setting and the time period were fucking perfect. And the way it looked was just so good. It's just that it was an Assassin's Creed game, so it wasn't fun. That's a problem. So I always wanted a turn-based, almost cartoonish economic and strategy game based in the Revolution. So like a Final Fantasy Tactics style game in the American Revolution, I think would be fucking awesome. But I mean, I even had like ideas and little designs drawn down about it being a 3D, or it was back in the day DS game. But that would be like, I just like that time period. I don't think it's off. See, we don't explore complicated time periods like that in traditional genres like shooters, because you can't play a shooter in Revolutionary War because even the best Minuteman had, needed 45 seconds to fucking load his musket and shoot it. So that's not fun. World War I isn't really fun to explore in that because it's fucking trench warfare and the front line moved like 12 miles in 5 years. I mean, who cares? We need to figure out new and clever genres and new ways to attack these different things. And I think Assassin's Creed was the one that could have done it the best, but they just, Kirk Hamilton at Kotaku wrote a great story last week about Assassin's Creed where his basic line was like, why isn't this fun? Like in terms of like why, like when are they going to get that the game doesn't control right? When are they going to figure that out?
When it stops selling.
Well, I think this might be the year. So it's
number one downloaded PlayStation game for October.
I mean, we'll see. I think that this is a matter of buzz versus sales versus economic reality again, but it was nice to see someone else echo what I've been saying for years about that series, which was like, it's just not, everything about it's so great. So why can't it play like it looks? Like why can't it play like Infamous?
I've always wanted to see an open world thing in San Francisco, specifically because I'm from here and I'm very familiar with the
Driver
location.
San Francisco.
No. So here's the thing. There's been a ton of maps and levels and experiences that have been in SF, but none of them have ever really matched where I want them to be. There's been levels in Tony Hawk that I feel like got closer than any, like San Andreas had San Francisco, but it didn't feel right. And also that was last gen.
Yeah.
So it just, it wasn't up to speed. For what GTA 5 did for LA, I would love to see that for San Francisco, and actually have the districts and see how it all works together and stuff. And what I would really like gameplay wise, so Mark Echo's Getting Up. I don't know if you guys are familiar. It was a graffiti game on the PS2. Great game, excellent game. Chance of a sequel? No way in fucking hell. I asked Mark Echo himself.
Nice job.
And he said no. But it was a really fun game. It was about graffiti and it was about all this stuff. And I think an open world graffiti game in San Francisco would be really cool because there's such a crazy graffiti subculture in the city. And just once you start knowing about it, like looking up and seeing all the buildings and seeing different graffiti pieces and being like, how the fuck they get up there? And like, if there was like a online thing where there's a lot of different people playing and like having different crews and shit, like trying to take over the city, I think it'd be fucking awesome. What about you, Greg?
I got nothing.
Okay.
Go to Chicago. Not enough games in Chicago. Watch Dogs was close, but it wasn't enough. Get real
Tom
Wrigley
Hawkins,
in there, not this fake Wrigley ass bullshit.
Tom Hawkins says, hey guys, if you could pick any Fallout perk to have in real life, what would it be?
The one that gave me more money every time I looked into a bin.
Yeah, that's a really good one. The one, barter, get better prices on everything. All the boring ones. I don't want to actually kill people.
Seabass6978 says, hey guys, long-time viewer, first-time poster. I'm curious on your thoughts on video game addiction. Do you think it's a real condition? If so, would you consider yourselves game addicts? This came to mind because I recently had a fight with my girlfriend about my obsession with video games. Keep creating some of the best content on the internet. Best friend for life.
See, obsession's a better way to put it. Addiction's a real thing. It's a disease. I think you can be addicted to anything. So and none of us at this table are addicted to video games.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a real life-altering injury, that fucks up everything, being addicted to something. Obsessed, I think, is a better way. We get obsessed with games all the time.
I mean, video game addiction is a thing, and I've seen people get addicted to video games, and I've seen it affect their lives poorly. being obsessed also affects your life. But like, I think that the addiction level is when
a professional needs to step in.
you're letting your health get in the way.
Yeah.
You're fucking up your relationships. Like, and I have a very close friend that like for a couple years was on a bad fucking path because of video games.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that that's no longer the case.
Sure.
Yeah, you can be addicted to anything. I mean, you can be addicted to relationships. You can be addicted to obviously drugs and alcohol. You can be addicted to whatever,
Sex.
but you can be addicted to sex. You can literally be addicted to food. You can be addicted to anything. So yeah, you can be addicted to games, of course. I never consider myself addicted to games. I've definitely had obsessive periods with them. My concern, I mean, the last game I obsessively played that came out was Mega Man 10. That was like the last game where I'm like, everyone just shut the fuck up and go away. I don't care what anyone's saying. I don't care about you. I'm gonna play this game now. And that was really the last time I ever like had a breakdown moment in my life where I'm like, this just has to be this way.
I would give so much to be able to just go back and see your reaction when Mega Man 9 was announced.
Yeah, I ran around the IGN office. I couldn't believe it. But my concern now is that do I play games enough, to satiate myself? I play games all the time, but I'm like, I wish I had more time to play them. I wish I had more of a drive to play more. But I don't. See, I was talking to someone recently about like I have so many interests that I'm trying to balance, that I'm trying to fit in more that has nothing to do with games. Like I still really want to rekindle my playing hockey again, and I want to join a chess club and do all these other things, like things that I really love and like really really love. And so you have to start cutting things out, and so then you realize that like video games are one of those expendable things in your life that you have to. Or at least I feel that way, where if I can play 10 hours or I can play 5 hours and fit in 5 hours of other stuff, I'd probably rather fit 5 hours of other stuff in. So it's all about balance. It's okay to it's okay to have a little addiction or an obsession with a game or games or whatever. You just have to find that balance, but that's different for different people. There was a really fascinating NeoGAF thread I read some time ago, like a couple months ago, where people were like, how often do you play video games? The question was like, how many hours a week do you play games? And I read like the whole thing. It was fascinating because it was like, it spanned literally anywhere from like, I don't play video games because I have a kid and fucking wife.
Fucked up my life.
Or I have a job, or I just don't care anymore, and then all the way to like 50 hours a week.
Yeah.
And like everyone in between. And it seemed like, and it made me feel good because NeoGAF obviously attracts like hardcore, dedicated game enthusiasts. And it seemed like the average was like 5 to 10 hours a week. And I was like, cool. Because
I'm okay.
I play more than that, and I feel like I'm not playing enough. So
Sure.
Final question of the day comes from Sweet Action 1981. He says, hey guys, what do you think of the Warcraft trailer? And does it give you any hope for the future of video game movies? I personally really liked it, and even more like the fact that they kept the CGI for the orcs extremely close to that of the game cinematics. I'm always hesitant to be excited for any video game movie announced, but this seems pretty good and gives me hope for future game movies. Did you guys see the trailer?
Yeah, I did. Thought it was fine. Like, I mean, like the problem is jumping back to a topic earlier, right? Like, I'm just not the high fantasy guy, so like I will not see that movie. Like, I thought just at a glance the CG didn't look that great.
Yep.
But I thought the world and the way they were acting was like, oh, this is like a legit movie. At least this is, you know what I mean?
For me, I'm not a Warcraft guy at all. Don't really know about the world.
There's worlds of it.
Yeah. Don't know much about it. I know basic shit. And I know enough to watch the trailer and be like, okay, cool. Like this checks out on a back of the fucking game summary. But like, and the reaction to it that I've read seems mixed, but not as bad as it could be.
Sure.
But I mean, from just a pure movie standpoint, this shit doesn't look good. Doesn't look good at all. The CG looks bad. And like everyone was saying that the CG in the game trailer for Legion that they showed looks way better. And it does. It looks way better.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I don't think that this is going to be the huge hit that a Warcraft movie could have been at a different time. I think people's expectations for these type of movies has changed, and the ship has sailed for this movie to hit that audience. Like I think this would have been an amazing 2008 movie.
But do you think it hits a wider audience outside of it? Is this a movie that kids in high school are going to go out to see on Friday and have no idea that it's based on a video game or whatever?
I think that it is exactly that movie, but it's not going to be that movie that those kids then tell their friends to watch.
Gotcha.
Which I think in 2008 it could have been.
Okay.
But now that we have, Iron Man and everything, every fucking 3 months, there's some movie of things that people actually care about.
You have to go see.
Cool to care about.
Gotcha.
Then it's like, this is just like, oh, this is based off a video game. Like people want to, like non-comic readers, non-nerds want to go into superhero movies, watch it and pretend they know more about superheroes than anyone else because it's cool. Superheroes are cool. So, in the comics, this happened.
Yeah.
And it's like, you never read a fucking comic in your life. You know, this I don't think it's going to have that same thing of, oh, well, in the game, you know, this happens. It's
We should
like-
go there and say stuff though. In the game, there's pandas and they're in the mist and they
if
fight
the fucking
things.
pandas aren't in the mist, I'm pissed.
Yeah.
You have any thoughts on this? Did you even
Not
watch
really.
it?
Yeah, we watched it. I think in Colin and Greg Live. I barely paid attention to it. I mean, that movie has bomb written all over it. I think, but who knows? I mean, that series certainly has a lot of resonance with a lot of people over a long period of time, and different kinds of gamers too. You know, World of Warcraft and then just Warcraft. So
Yeah.
it'll certainly draw people in. But I don't understand this drive to make video games into movies. I just don't get it. You know, like why? Like it's the same reason we talked about the Last of Us movie, where it's like I don't want that. I don't want that at all. It's okay for things to be games. It doesn't mean that they're less legitimate. You know, making a movie out of something doesn't legitimize it. I don't know how many times we have to see these movies come out before we realize that this is maybe more destructive to games than helpful.
You hope our industry's waking up to that they don't have to chase that. It seems like it's slowing down, but then there are like Uncharted pops up or whatever. That was the argument I was having at IGN at the end. There was just the fact that people were like, what's the first video game movie that's going to matter? And I kept saying Last of Us, and people would say Warcraft. I'm like, maybe, I guess, sure, but like. Last of Us at least has Neil Druckmann in it. You would say Crazy Taxi?
Yeah.
Okay.
When's that fucking movie coming?
I hope it's just not. If it does come, I hope it is just 90 minutes of just driving. It's just driving around, picking people. Take me to Pizza Hut.
Taking a priest to Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that topic brought to you by DraftKings. Football season marches on, and while your season-long fantasy team might be going nowhere fast, every week is a new shot for glory at DraftKings.com. DraftKings is the destination for one-week fantasy football, where you can relive the fantasy draft and play for huge prizes each and every week. Challenge your friends in a custom league, or join an existing one to play for your share of the $1 billion in prizes up for grabs this year. This isn't fantasy as usual. This is DraftKings. Welcome to the big times. Hurry to DraftKings.com now. Use promo code KINDAFUNNY to play for free with your first deposit in Sunday's $1 million fantasy football contest. First place takes home $100,000 and a lifetime of bragging rights. Enter Kinda Funny for free entry now only at DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com. Thank you guys very much for joining.
Thank you.
Greg, you can go get back to Fallout now.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I do have like 40 minutes before we have to do this
Yeah,
Q&A.
so you're stoked, and I know. Thank you all for joining us. Again, thank you all for supporting us on Patreon. You're beautiful people that do beautiful things. We'll see you next week.